Praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Go to John 5:39. I'm asking y'all something. That was that video I was listening to before I slid. I hear perspective. I really want to hear the women perspective, the man perspective really in this. John 5:39.
Search the scriptures for enemy think you have eternal life, and there they will testify. Search the scriptures for enemy think you have eternal life, and there they will testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another should come in his own name, him you will receive. But how can you believe what you see, honor one of another, and seek not the honor that cometh from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. There is one that accuses you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For had ye believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you would have believed me, for he wrote of me? But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my word?
Very well then. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 4.
It say, love suffers long and is kind. Love envieth not. Love vaunteth not itself. It is not puffed up. It does not behave itself unseemly. Seeketh not of her own, and is not easily provoked. Thinketh no evil. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth. Beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, and endureth all things.
All right. So that's what we're going to look at. The bearing, the hoping, the enduring, all things. That's what the love of Elohim is going to do. And what do I want to do first? Let's take ourselves to Job, the 39th chapter and the 9th verse. Job 39 and 9. Job 39 and 9.
It says, will the unicorn be willing to serve thee or abide by thy crib?
Do y'all know what a unicorn is? You know what a unicorn is? What's a unicorn? It's a lot of. But what's a unicorn? You know what a unicorn is? What you think a unicorn is? Shalom, brother. Job 39 and 9.
Shalom, brother.
You got jokes, huh? Early in the morning, afternoon, midday, whatever you want to call it. Like, well, as far as you know, what is a unicorn? Yeah, that's not a unicorn. That's not a real unicorn. A unicorn ain't nothing but an animal with one horn. Yeah. Yeah, but he's not real.
It's just basically like any animal that grows horns.
Yeah, a rhino.
She has just one horn.
Like a rhino.
Or rhinos, depending on how old they are.
Yeah, but
Horses don't grow horns.
yeah. Yeah, see, they threw the name on that animal to make you believe that's what it was, so you could know, like, want My Little Pony and all that other stuff that they be having going on. You had My Little Pony when you were little? Was that a thing when you were little? It was a thing when I was little, you know, because my cousin had them. All of them. Go ahead.
It says, can thou bind up the unicorn with his band in the furrow? Or will he the herald in the valleys, or will he herald the valley after thee? Wilt thou trust him because his strength is great?
Will you trust him because, now he talking about the unicorn, right? You say you going to trust the unicorn because his strength is great? Nah, that's what we get to it, what she just expounded on, what we were going to go to. If a unicorn is a one-horn animal, then what animal would we look at this for? Go to Genesis 22, man. what it is in Genesis 22. About verse 7. No, I don't want to start your webinar, sir. Thank you. What you want, a fruit diet? Is that what you want? You a fruitarian? I ain't mad at you. Ain't nothing but some water.
It's saying Isaac speaking to Abraham his father and said, "My Abba," and he said, "Here am I, my son." He said, "Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering?" And Abraham said, "My son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering." So they went both of them together. And they came to a place which Elohim had told him of, and Abraham built an altar there, and laid wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood.
Laid him,
And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son.
slay him.
And the Malachim of Yahuwah called out unto him out of Shamahim and said, "Abraham, Abraham." And he said, "Here am I." And he said, "Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest Elohim, seeing that thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son."
What did Abraham just exhibit in what we're looking at? And bearing, enduring, and hoping and believing all things. For him doing that, what did he just exhibit? No, I'm talking about the believing, hoping, bearing, or enduring. What did he believe then? But, I mean, he told him to do something, but what did he believe then? We understand that you're saying he exhibited faith and belief, but what was he believing in? And what would that promise be? I'm asking y'all this here because this is mentioned in the book of Hebrews. What did he promise Abraham pertaining to Isaac? He about to kill him. So what would that look like if you killed him? There we go. Look at Hebrews chapter 11, right? I think it's about verse 15. That's some nasty yoga right there, man. That yoga right there. That's some nasty stuff right there, bro. Tell me what Hebrews 11 and 15 say.
It's saying, truly, if they had been mindful of that
Doing
country.
13.
Huh?
Is that 13 or 15?
17.
Go ahead, get us 17. We ain't got time.
It said, by faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his son, his only begotten son, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
Look at the rest of the part. Listen what he say.
Accounting that Elohim was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure.
So you look at it, he willing to kill him. He know y'all gonna raise him from the dead because you said my seed was gonna come through him. If he dies, how is that possible? He had to believe that regardless of what you asking me to do, my seed gonna come through this lad. That's what you told me. That's what you told me. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't look at, but if I kill him, how am I seed? He didn't look at none of that. He didn't look at none of that. That did not deter him from the fact of Yah is going to do exactly what he promised that he was going to do. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 22. And that shows, that's why you turn around and you see that Malachim saying what he said. He say, now I know. Because you believe me enough that you'll kill this little boy knowing I'm going to raise him from the dead. Because if he died, my seed, you promised me and looked me in my face and told me, and Isaac shall thy seed be called. You told me to put Ishmael out the house. That's who you told me my seed was coming through. So I believe that. It don't matter if this little boy died, lose, I know full well he gonna call my name to continue. See, that's a strong thing because literally Abraham's name still continues because we alive at this very point of junction in history right now. So his name still continues. That's why you always hear dudes be so adamant about having a son. That's why you seen him stressing on the fact I don't have an heir. Because if you don't have a son, you die. It's over for you. You finished. You no longer continue. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see a dude have a lot of girls, they be like, well, I want to keep on having kids because he want to have a son. Because girls cannot continue that man's name or his lineages. You can't do it. That is impossible. And you ain't know that, Lisa? Yeah, that's why dudes really be bugging out about having a son. You know what I'm saying? Because they name continue. It don't matter, one son all it takes.
Shit to me, what's up?
Yeah, but you said one son all it takes. To keep it going. But shoot, if a man has 6 daughters, he's done. He's over with. He can't continue. His line don't continue. Like I told you, I might got my mama and them last name, but I'm not of that seed. I'm not of that stock. You know what I'm saying? But my granddaddy had one son who had 2 sons. One of his sons done had 2 kids, but they not boys. My brother done made sure my daddy name gonna continue for several generations, all them children he got. Shoot, that nigga on 10. Half of them boys. Yeah, he made sure. Anthony Rogers ain't got to worry about that. He gonna slide for a few more generations. Go ahead, man.
It said, Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns.
By what?
By his horns.
Mhm.
And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering instead of his son.
Instead of his son.
And Abraham called.
That's good. Instead of his son. Now let's go back to where we was at in Job 39. You can pick it up at verse, 9 again. Man, I just ain't found the right amount of olive oil.
It said, wilt thou trust him because his strength is great, or wilt thou leave thy labor to him?
Pause. Let me ask y'all a question. What Hebrew words you think is used for trust in this particular passage? If anybody knows any of the words for trust anyway, in and of itself.
What were you?
Job 39 and 9.
That was
Somebody got to
11.
open that door.
That was
Verse 11. Who got an idea of what word that would be? Anybody want to roll the dice? No, not for trust. That's the word for rejoice. Y'all familiar with it? You done heard it before. You ain't got too many choices for the word trust. It's like, folks, you done heard all of them too. Huh? What, a Job? Oh yeah, Job 39. Yeah, maybe in verse 12. Not verse 11. That's a different word. You looking at batak. No, I don't think it's one at verse 12.
Oh, you said verse 12.
No, I said verse 11, but I got both. Because she just said the other word, which I forgot about. That's what the word is. No, what it was, because she looked it up, I forgot that it's 2 different words for trust in 11 and 12. So when you said it start with a B, that's what reminded me that verse 11 is the word batak, of which you're not familiar with.
12 is a word trust, not a verse 12.
What a word for trust is in verse 12.
it's for believe.
Yes, for belief. Yeah, the word is batak, what you said, though. Would that be? That wasn't the word. I got ahead of myself. Huh? What'd you say? But look how he said, right? He said, do you trust him to leave off your labor, right? That's what it said. Read verse 11 again.
It said, wilt thou trust him because his strength is great, or wilt thou leave thy labor to him?
Will you leave your labor to him? Will you leave your labor to this unicorn? What you think that means when say leave your labor to this unicorn? Leave your work. That word for leave is a zob, right? You know what the definitions of it is? It means to leave, to forsake, to loose, to leave behind, to let alone, to set free. And if I didn't say forsake, I'll say it again, or to forsake. Now, you have an ayin, a zayin, and a bat. So I'll give you a few minutes to come up with something for that. Because if you believe all things, then you'll leave your labor behind. Now, we can see that with Abraham, right? Because he believed stuff. What did he ask Abraham to do? And so he left all that behind. That go back to what I was talking to y'all about last night when I tell you, like, people, like I said, right, they'll tell you, oh, you got to cut people off. You ain't got to do nothing. But if you really keep the word, Yah will cut them off. Because the people will cut themselves off from you. I don't care who they are. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how much you love them and care about them. The stronger you get in the word. Like I said in one thing in Job, he said those with clean hands get stronger and stronger. The stronger you get in the word, the less and less anybody of the world will hear you or even tolerate your company. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even want to tolerate you. You don't got to walk around talking about the word. You ain't got to be like, y'all need to repent. You ain't got to do none of that. The fact that you's dead serious about that, you open that like you ashamed. I mean, everyone sees you got the cake. You think the strawberries make it better? Oh, the strawberries make it healthy. Okay. Dead serious though. Because what do we read in Leviticus 20, right? He said what? I've severed you from other people that you should be mine. I've sanctified you. So when we look at coming out of Egypt, we know we look at spiritually coming out of Egypt is coming out of what? Sin, because you're coming out of bondage. What did Yahushua son of Nun tell them to do in the 24th chapter? Do y'all know what he told them to do? He told them everything that your fathers did on the other side of the flood, leave it right over there. Leave it right over there. Don't bring that over here with you. You know what I'm saying? So when you cross over to say that you want to enter into the promised land and enter inheritance, you have to leave all that stuff behind. So if you believe in this man, then you're going to leave it behind. Does anybody have anything for that ayin, zayin, and bat? Is anybody ready?
Experience the fruit of the Son.
I can rock with that. You can rock with that. You got anything for me, sir? Anybody else? Anybody else?
We said the same thing with the Zion, like you just cut off.
Zayin can give you the fruit though.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. I'm pretty sure the regular food.
Anybody else? Anybody else? All right, you got something for me? Shayla, you got anything back there? Lisa, you got anything back there? Why you trying to chew all daintily? She's gonna pass. So we're gonna roll with what they got. So when you leave, read that verse 11 for me again, please, sir.
Wilt thou trust him because
Where you what?
trust him because his strength is great?
Because his strength is what?
Is great.
Uh-huh.
Or wilt thou leave thy labor to him?
When you leave when you leave your labor to him, you're gonna experience the fruit. So Stanley, what fruit will you experience here, Stanley? What is the fruit that you will experience?
Galatians 5.
I will accept that, but give me something. Give me at least 2 witnesses out of that. That's the correct place, but I need an answer.
Faith and long suffering.
Okay, we'll take faith and long suffering. Now, we just talked about long suffering not too long ago. So today we're gonna just talk about that. So Johnny, I need a witness of long suffering. I need a witness. I need a witness. I need a witness of someone who executed long suffering. I need a witness.
Oh, wait, so who you witnessing to? What did you say?
He said faith and long suffering is an example of fruit. So I need a witness for long suffering.
I would say, Daniel what her name is, that curse.
So what?
David, what that curse, I forget his name.
Oh, Shemai.
Yeah.
We'll accept it. Who? Abraham? Who did he show patience to?
Two. Oh, we're saying as far as goes up to somebody?
He did do that. He definitely did that. I can accept that. So we got Abraham, and we got, because this is it. Now, when we look at two of these, what we're looking at, right? That means to leave. So what did David leave behind in order for him to be able to suffer buddy? And what did Abraham leave behind in order to wait on his promise? You first, sir.
Left behind Solomon. I don't know exactly.
No, absolutely not.
Get that.
No, I do not.
I don't think I understand.
Meaning, for him to execute long suffering, that means to say to leave your labor behind. That means you leave your own works behind. What did David leave behind to cause him to have the ability to let Buddy curse him and do absolutely nothing to him when his captain is standing right there talking about let me lop his head off? What part of his labor did he leave behind? It's a very easy answer too.
I don't think I fully understand what's being asked.
Do you know what he left behind?
I don't know, guys, I was like, he left behind, like, doing his own will.
Close, but you're almost there. What he left behind? What he left behind? He left his pride behind, because that would be part of his labor. That's what he left behind. Pride would have told you to cut that nigga head off. You the king, nigga saying, curse you, you bloody man, thou bloody man. And your man is standing to you like, man, let me cut that nigga head off. And he say, man, if y'all bid him to curse. If he curse, let him curse. We looked at that when we looked at love don't vaunt itself up or it's not puffed up. He the king, he could have easily had this man killed. Nobody said a word. When you look about leaving your labor behind to the unicorn, who is your strength, who you trust in, I mean, you leaving your works to this man and you living for him, you're not doing what you want to do. This is how you experiencing the fruit of the son, because you left that behind. You know what I'm saying? If you leaving that behind, that means you maintain it to your mission. Now, I'm going to ask y'all this here because like I told y'all, I mentioned it to you last night. I've noticed this in my lifetime, so I only want to hear the women because the men can't answer this question. You know what I'm saying? Because what the dude was talking about was you have a man that, most women want a man that has a mission or a plan or a goal that he's working toward. I remember, like, when some of y'all first came around, they remember him saying, like, if you want a successful man, then you have to deal with a busy man. If a man can give you all his time, he ain't got nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? Then as a woman, why would you want a nigga who can give you all his time? What is he doing? What can he do for you if every minute and every moment of the day he's with you? I mean, he ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Now, the dude's perspective is that you'll have a woman consistently test a man to see if he'll put the relationship before his mission. The minute that he does that, they state that that woman is no longer attracted to him because she looks at him as a woman. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is just their perspective on a psychological aspect. I done seen this. You know what I'm saying? Well, a woman be like, you need to put me before this. And then the minute you do it, she don't look at you the same. You know what I'm talking about? She wants you to acknowledge that, yeah, you need to make some time for her, but she don't actually want you to cut your mission short for her. Then she know you're not really a man. You know what I'm saying? Now, y'all women can answer that from that perspective, because I can't answer that. I'm not a woman. I can only tell you what I've seen. You can go ahead since you're teasing. How would you feel if you asked a man to put the relationship before his mission and he did it? And then the opposite side of that equation. You love me. This nigga here. He really love me.
I feel like it depends on what it is. I don't ask him to put out the condition or quality time.
No, this ain't about no quality time. This is about putting a relationship before your business. Like whatever it is that I'm working towards, you want me to put the relationship before that. Not no quality time. But I'm not asking you if you did it. I'm asking you your perspective on that. If a man, if you knew a man was doing, like you knew this man is handling business, like he's not hanging out in the street, he's not going to the clubs, he's not doing this here. He has a mission that he is working on and working towards that is taking up a good amount of his time. Would you want him to forsake his mission for y'all? And if he did, how would you look at him?
Well, if he did, I would look at him.
Because the tenor of their conversation is when a man becomes a woman's girlfriend or girl by lowering his masculinity on an equal plane or level of operating like a woman. Like the dude gave the example that his uncle came and told him when he was arguing with the mother of his child, you made yourself become feminine in her eyesight because you arguing with her. Do you know what I'm saying? He was like, you should have just walked away from her. Like, what is you arguing with this woman for? Like, cause a man that told women argue, you don't sit here and argue with no woman. If y'all can't come to an amicable conclusion, then you just walk away till cooler head prevail. You come back and continue the conversation. You just don't sit here and argue with no woman, because it's gonna cause her to lose respect for you. You know what I'm saying? And what they referring to, I think, more than anything, is it's on a subconscious thing. It's not necessarily like it might be conscious that you thinking that way in the moment. But he was like, so I believe, and this is my opinion on what they were referring to, that subconsciously they begin to look at you in this fashion, like, I don't look at you like no man.
Shoot, as a man, any nigga, I feel like go back and forth with this old lady. That joint feminine.
Yeah, because I know men look at that like, what you arguing with this hoe for?
But the real nigga gonna say what he gotta say and be through with it.
And be done with it. If he gonna say anything. What about you, Callie?
I don't think I would ask somebody to stop their mission for our relationship. And if they did, I would hope they would be wise and not completely stop their whole mission from our relationship.
Now, I'm going to say that he used that example because all y'all women in here done did it in your lifetime, which is not this particular scenario, but that you test a man to see if he a man. That is the scenario that he used as one of the things that women do. Because I know this here. Ain't a woman alive can tell me they didn't. If you like a man, you going to try him to see if he a man or not.
But that could be throwing some booty at a nigga, see if he gonna take it. That don't make a nigga less of a man if he don't take the booty.
No, he wasn't talking about no sex, though.
I'm just saying, it's women that'll test a nigga like that.
Oh, yeah, but it depends.
That's all I was saying. That wasn't an applicable test.
I mean, it depends on what you got going on. Because, okay, let's say you in the word, or you got a wife, or you got an old lady, and she throw that booty at you. She know you ain't no type of man if you knock her down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She throwing it. Let me see what this nigga gonna do. Let me see what he gonna do. Once you do that, she know she got control over you to run you, and there's no way that she can respect you. I can push you around. I can tell you what to do. I can make you do what I want you to do, and you not man enough to say, no, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? No real woman gonna respect that. A nigga she can push around? What about you, Shayla? Like when I was listening to the video, I thought they conversation was interesting. I wanted to ask y'all because, like I said, man can't answer that question. Look at him. He throwing through 50.
Like, I try to understand why he not doing that with himself.
No, it's not that he's not doing something with himself. He's doing
Why
something.
you choosing to be right here and want to make something happen?
Well, then you wouldn't respect him.
I wouldn't respect him.
I don't think you would.
I don't feel like I disrespect a nigga off of that.
You don't have to disrespect him, but you may not. What he was referring to is once that respect gone, the attraction starts to wane, and now you don't no longer really want to fool with this individual in that capacity. That was their point. That basically, if a man don't show himself a man, then that woman attraction starts to wane towards that man. Huh?
I said it's the same thing from like I meet you and you ain't got no blood. You like bye.
That's shallow. That's I ain't gonna lie, that's shallow. That's shallow.
That's true. Yeah, you got no job, no car.
No, I mean, at the same token, I understand what they saying, because our big homies used to tell us, like, boy, if you ain't got no money, what you trying to get some booty for? Like, get you some money. You know what I'm talking about? Them hoes gonna be there. That's what the big homies used to tell us. Them hoes gonna be there. Don't you worry about no booty, you ain't got no money. Where you gonna take her to? Nigga can't even get no hotel room for this hoe. Can't even get no booty in the car. But guess what? If you like some of the niggas I grew up with, you gonna hit it in the park.
In the park after dog.
In the park after dark. What about you, Lee? hold on. Let me get Lee in on this. And since y'all said that, it's another thing I seen. I'll ask you that too, Lee. But the dude was saying that if a woman will ask a man to leave off from whatever it is that he's working towards for their relationship, and that if he did it, that she would no longer be attracted to him as a man, and she would look at him as if he was a woman. I mean, would you look at that? Say if you say, Mike, cut your dreams off and come hang out with me more, and he did it. How would you feel about that? How would you look at Mike if he did that? We know you wouldn't, Lee. I'm not saying you would, because we know you're not that type of person. But I'm just saying, in the event that situation occurred, like, as a woman, how would you look at a man if he did that? If he put the relationship before his mission, his work, what he's trying to achieve. Huh? She did you like that, Mike?
No, she didn't do me like that. She did somebody else like that. You're not gonna come off what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna happen. I seen her do somebody else like I'm like,
We gonna like this. I guess Lee ain't got nothing for it. It's your turn, D.
It's my turn.
It's your turn.
I mean, I feel like I wouldn't never put nobody in that situation. I feel like that's high school stuff. When niggas didn't have a gun, I feel like you grown. What did you do? We ain't on vacation. What did you do?
No, I feel you. I think he was referring to as the things that, like I said, a woman tested a man, see if he was a man. Women
I feel
got.
like that's not no test for me. I'm not like testing you and see if you
Yeah, no doubt.
stay home from work. That's not that's a trash test.
Well, I don't think he referring to staying home from work, putting what you want to do to the back burner for the sake of pleasing this woman. And a lot of dudes do it, and then they think they did the right thing, and then that woman don't really look at him the same.
I don't feel like that's a bad thing. I feel like you do it on the regular. Like, all right, I'm gonna stay home today. Spend time with you. All right, that's cool.
I don't think y'all looking at the big picture.
No, y'all looking at it on the individual. Spend some time with me. We talking about put the relationship before anything. Anything you got going on, put the relationship before that.
I feel like I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
I don't say like that movie.
That's what he mainly point. It's a lot of women who do that though. And it's not necessarily that they want him to do it. They just want to see is he weak enough to capitulate to what she wants. Because a woman, because a lot of it's the same way whatever test you through to see if this man's a man. You want to know you got a man.
I feel like I ain't got to touch it. It's gonna come out and be different.
But you done did something to where you wanted to see if he was a man or not. It could be subtle things. It could be small things. Every woman do it. Every woman do it.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just embedded in you. You've done it.
Every woman does it. Because it's nature, because you want to make sure that this is a man who is capable of leading, providing, and protecting, and is a man. You don't want to mess around and be with a dude and you know he ain't no man. What a lot of the women mess up at is you see he ain't a man and then you think you can build him into one. And how you going and most women can't build a man into no man because you ain't had no daddy no way.
First off, a woman can't do it on man either.
But period though. But I'm talking about, but in their mind, if your perspective that you could even point out and say what a man was, how would you know you didn't even have one in your house? Now, another question I seen a dude ask was this, that if a man had benefits and all he could provide was food, clothing, and shelter, was he marriage material?
I mean, not. I feel like that's what they want. The males have to live smartly because they ain't got what they want, not what they need.
Yeah, and that was his point. And he went off on a lot of women who said no, because some of the women say that's a man you could build with. When the other one were looking at, this ain't nigga who just ain't doing nothing. That man say he has a job, he has health benefits, life benefits, whatever the job offer, and he can provide for food, the necessities, and no more than that.
I mean, if you got a job, clearly you can do more than that. I feel like that's a that's
He was trying to see what people was going to respond to.
huh? Nah, that ain't got benefits. He got a good job.
He got a decent job.
Is that a
Crazy.
good
Well, you can work part-time Amazon benefits.
I mean, yeah, but that's not what he said. He said
No.
good benefits, didn't he?
No, he didn't say good. He said benefits. He said a
benefits.
job.
He said
ben-
food, clothing,
the shelter.
That's it. You can be part-time fronting that in the right circumstance.
But what you bringing that to want more than that? What you got going on though? Yeah, what more do you need?
You be having a job, but you ain't got the communication.
But he ain't see that's not what that man asked. That man he was talking about strictly.
He
but
said, can you build from that
he's
foundation?
talking about, but he's not talking. He's talking economically.
Yes, I can build from that.
No, he talking about what you. But if you can build from that, what you bringing? Because if you ain't got no job and equal, then what is this nigga taking care of you?
I mean, I feel like it's residential.
It depends on what a girl wants. Because some girls want a nigga that can take care of her fully.
I'm at.
The average girl looking at that nigga like, oh, I'm going to have to pitch in.
So she don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Straight up.
And you got, and this goes to something that what I've been telling you. This is why a lot of dudes don't want to get married because they feel like for what? That's how niggas feel. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I'm just telling you this is how a lot of dudes feel because a lot of dudes feel like this woman coming like this here, and if I can't give you this, that, then the third, you looking down on me.
Yeah. It depends on the type of women you attract.
No, she don't want you. All right, move on to the next.
But some niggas get stuck on having a certain type of female.
Exactly.
That really what it be. Nigga feel like I ain't gonna settle down until I have this, that, and the third. And the females that you want you to jump over hills and swim across oceans. And you already know you're not gonna be able to do that with your situation, so you feel like you ain't never gonna be married. Versus go ahead and that's really what it be.
But I know his point was totally different. His point was the mindset of, I'm going off his words.
Yeah.
His words was the mind state of that most black women want this, that, then the third and bring absolutely nothing.
He black?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
That was his point.
Because how can black women be the top, this, that, and then the ones you choose, the ones that ain't.
Well, I think I know one thing for him. I know he was referring to a lot of women who in the word.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's be specific then.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
That was, bro. I'm about to say, cause I can't say that. It just all depends on what you attract. It's a lot of women that'll be thankful for what he was saying. Like, if a nigga got a little piece of benefits and food, clothing, shelter, and a job, she enjoying that to the fullest. She cool with that. It's a lot of women that's cool with that, cause they messing with niggas who don't got none of that. And it's a lot of black women messing with niggas who don't got none of that.
Because I can tell you right now, all that stuff economically, a lot of them women got, they ain't marriage material though. They think that's what make them marriage material because you got a degree and you got this job and you making this, but you're a horrible woman. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they like to throw. I'm independent. I don't care if you're independent. I ain't mad at you because I'm like this here, boy. If my girl was doing this, that, then the third, shoot, baby, get your money. I ain't mad at you. Cause I'm going to be over here getting mine. I'll get back with you. You know what I'm saying? But a lot, and it's men, because see, men been doing it. As far as they think the things that they have or the accolades is enough. Like, you don't see these rims I got on this car? You don't know where I work at? How you talking about, see your nigga flash over American Express, where I heard you over there, your little booty get wet, nigga got you tossed up. I ain't know, but I just threw that out there because I wanted to. Because I wanted to.
Hey, that's why I was like, but sure, it's the same as saying like if a nigga ain't got no car, like just because a nigga ain't got no car and no job, that don't mean the nigga not mass material. Like that's nothing to get.
Now some of the women on the post was
That's
like,
nothing to get.
what is this nigga?
Verse on you being a
That's a baseline. Like you got at least have like.
I feel like, why are you trying to get married if that's what you're starting
What if
with?
you
I feel
work
like you
towards
should
it?
get you first.
Oh no, I wasn't talking about getting married. Y'all said I'm not gonna talk to a nigga without a car or a job. That was what y'all said. I'm not gonna talk to a nigga without a car or a job. That was y'all said.
But but this point of like this brother talking about it, you could say a nigga like, okay, he ain't got no car. Nigga, you got one?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of women that say they want a nigga to have something and they don't have it for themselves.
That's why they need that nigga. If I can't get nowhere, we can't get nowhere together. If you ain't got it.
He was like homeless and he
Oh, that was Conor McGregor.
Oh,
That was Conor McGregor. That was Conor McGregor.
He left him?
No, he's still with him.
No, yeah.
She say she believed in him, paid for certain stuff. Say he was they were homeless and they were poor. She rode with him because she believed.
But that's a light thing. To me, that's a light thing. Because if a nigga got like core man principles, like you know a nigga gonna hold you down, nigga gonna be loyal, nigga gonna communicate, nigga showing forth himself to be a manager because he don't got stuff like that. If he working towards the stuff he working towards, and you can believe him in that.
I mean, it's a lot of women who done did that because Camille Cosby did it.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama did it. Yeah. Juanita Jordan did it. You know what I'm saying? They were with these niggas where they didn't have nothing.
They was in college together. What you mean?
But I mean, you got women.
Obama, they went to school
But you got some women in college. But you got some women who in college with a nigga like, I ain't messing with that nigga. He ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's per person, per situation. And it depends on where they come from.
You broke.
But if you walk in the car, you
But that was it. But I'm saying, but every woman in college ain't walking.
But that's what I'm saying. It depends on the situation. It depends on the person. It depends on the situation.
He wasn't paid either.
She saw the future. I mean, that would be
And a lot of women do that too.
No, but I mean, I'm just using him as an example because he mentioned Conor McGregor. See, what his point was is a woman who will, you ain't got it right now, but I'ma ride with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Buddy's point was, is that you got a lot of women that be like, boy, I hear you playing. I see you working toward it. I see your ambition. I'm attracted to you. I like you. I'ma ride with you. His point is a lot of women gonna be like, I'll get at you when you get it.
Yeah.
Then at the time when a nigga get it, he like, screw all you
I
hoes.
mean, but exactly. That go back to what Will said as far as the women that you're attracted to. Because she ain't, that should be square one. That should be not even a month in. That's 2 weeks. You find out that.
But from what you saying if a nigga ain't got a car or a job, that's not an
I
option.
didn't say that. Yeah, right now at this point in my life, I dated a nigga without a car to stay with his mom. Right. So will I make that same decision again? We gotta look at certain things.
Every nigga not the same though.
Exactly. That's why I say gotta look at the circumstances. Because that's everything I was talking about. I said per situation is per person. Everybody got their preferences, and it depends on if y'all even match together. If that's what you want to do. Everybody.
I mean, I ain't
I
mad at
was just going
nobody.
on what you were saying.
I ain't mad at nobody. You do what you
I'm
want.
expounding on what I'm saying. 'Cause you can't.
I ain't mad at
that's a general aspect.
You know what I
Well,
mean? Shoot. I didn't want to hear your thoughts. I ain't because
that's a general.
all I'm really expressing, because I ain't expressing how I personally feel. I'm just expressing what I hear dudes saying how they feel about these scenarios. Me personally, if I wouldn't even try to get with a woman if my paper wasn't straight. But that's how I was taught though. You know what I'm saying? Because it can be ugly because everybody done went outside and you ain't did. It can end up ugly. You know what I'm saying? Because there be certain things going on. You know what I'm talking about? I did it once, I'd never do it again. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd rather get certain stuff straight. Then at the same token is, if that woman say, well, look here, just how she mentioned, at this stage in my life, this is what I need, because I'm older, so I'm going to understand that. I'm going to get that. You know what I'm saying? I can't even be mad at you. But if you come and try to disrespect me, because I ain't get this, that, then a third, then I'm going to tell you like my man Lil Fame said on the record, you know, your coochie stank is your attitude, and you can beat your feet.
Damn true. Yeah.
Nah, she get it, though. She got mop water coochie, so she can go on here about her business. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest, though. Because I say, because me as an individual, okay, I feel where you coming from. Because I know at the bare minimum, this woman may not even, it's not even the point of, I need you to do this, that, then the third for me. But as a man, I would hope that you had the ability to do so. Or at least moving towards the ability to do so. And if you're not doing that, and she said, nah, I'm straight, then I can't even be mad at her.
At least if you can't take care of her, you take care of yourself. She don't have to.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end, I ain't mad at you, though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at you. You know, niggas get mad. Like, them dudes was getting mad saying, oh, so this man ain't married material because at least he can take care of the necessities. I mean, I'm not mad at you. If that ain't what you want, that ain't what you want.
These brothers in the word,
Yeah.
they should read it. They should open the book and read it.
Yeah, you know. I mean, he was just at, because he, like I said, he wanted answers. Okay, if he got just the necessity, you can't get no wants, but everything you need, you got. If you say, hey, I don't want a little bit more than that, I ain't mad at you. Clearly, I ain't the man for you. So, shoot, take a load off my back. You know what I'm saying?
That was the point. That was trying to say. It's like he said.
No, yeah, I was saying that from the beginning. Like, shoot,
That's what he
if that's all you got to offer, ain't no need to get no super high maintenance shit. I want you to do this, that, and the third.
Shoot, nigga, I can have $1 million. I don't want no how you shoot, baby. You need to get you a job. You want to be rich, baby.
Like, though. But that's what some niggas like, though.
Get you a job, baby.
Cause you feel like that make you look good.
I ain't worried about looking good, but shoot. No, I don't need no grown child. I don't care how fine you is. Shoot. I feel like how Bill Maher said.
Niggas be feeling.
I feel like Bill Maher said, you show me a beautiful woman. He said, I'll show you a man who tired of having sex with him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care nothing about that. Looks fade, titty sag, you know what I'm talking about? Stretch marks come and all that type of stuff. I don't care nothing about that.
You gotta be able to put the tab to keep that up. That's what they're doing. Booty shots, facelift.
Well, shoot, once you go to getting booty shots, shoot, you ain't the woman for me. When you even talk about some booty
just
shots,
saying.
I need my all natural like
That's
Purdue.
that's the reality. That's the reality.
Ain't no reality, because you's old slut master hoe. You going on over there. You
Oh,
want to see
sorry.
Dr.
That's what he
Miami?
said, though. What they
But that's what niggas be wanting.
That's what
What's
he
the lady that work at Amazon with me? Her nigga pay for her to get her face shot up.
Oh, get Botox?
Straight up. He paid for it. Clearly that's what he like. He paid for
want
it.
to look like this every time.
I don't care nothing about that. I just ask, don't get fat. We go to the gym.
At once a month. She
I go to
come
gym
with
with
the
you.
hard perky face.
If you ain't come in hefty, don't leave out hefty.
Straight up.
She started getting the pounds on.
Hey, look here. You had some kids, I get it. I ain't mad, baby. We gonna work it off together. I'm in here with you. I ain't trying to change it, baby. We just trying to build some slabs. I'm right in here with you. Cause I ain't gonna be that nigga like how some of them niggas get their old lady put. You done got fat. See, you's a low, good, dirty bastard. You don't do that woman like that. Especially if she done had your turn. You know what I'm saying? You don't dare open your mouth like that if she done had your turn. You know what I'm saying? But you be honest. Hey, baby, you know that junk don't float my boat like it used to. You know what I'm saying? We can go on slide here to Bailey's, baby. We can eat better. We change our life together. I respect that. It would be no different if that woman come in and say, all right now, John, you're balancing beer cans on your stomach now. That don't do nothing for me. Now I got this Planet Fitness membership. Now we can get in here and make it right.
Judgment free zone.
Judgment free. I ain't judging you, but I'm finna nudge out this door because we finna do something. Like I said, I don't want that girth on top of me.
That boy said, I do not want that curse.
Now some women like that. Like I said, it all depends what you like. You like what you like. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I would hope you like a real man or a real woman. That's what I hope you would like. Come on and come over here to this Roman chapter 6, man, leaving this label behind. What you say? Share it with your family. Don't say it under your breath. Huh? See, whispering rude. Oh, you like that?
Cedric daddy.
Hey, some women like big men. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
What? I ain't get it.
Meaning he on his feet like an athlete. They ain't laying down.
Yeah, y'all still gotta go to sleep. That nigga still gotta roll over on you, baby. That's
Hey, check
That's
it.
5,
So
10 minutes.
let's get back to the point, right? I just wanted to hear y'all thoughts on some of that. But now she mentioned Abraham with his long suffering and his patience to endure to get that promise. How long did he endure? He endured almost 100 years. Now let's look at the next one, right? Let's look at faith. Stanley, can you give me an example of faith? Can you give me a witness? Can you give me a witness? Kira says she can't hear nothing. Oh, never mind. She says it's her phone.
I would pick a harlot. She
Ray hair, I'll take that. How did she show her face, Stanley? That was a good one right there, Stanley. I like that.
She with the 2 spies. She hit the 2 spies.
But what was the exhibition of her faith?
She heard Yahuwah's.
There you go. She heard the word. She said, we heard about you. We heard about your God and what he coming to do. There you go. The spies was the actual manifestation of her faith. You know what I'm saying? Where you at, Lee? Lee, can you give me an example of somebody showing some faith, Lee? Can you give me a witness? What'd you say? Oh, I thought you said something. My bad. I got ahead of myself. What about you, Michael Glover? Can you help your wife out? Can you give me an example of faith? Can you help your wife out?
You know, Mike keep one tuck now.
Tuck. Who? How he showed it?
Get down.
That's close. That's more long suffering though.
That is.
There's more long suffering than the faith end.
He got 2 now. I'm like, well,
And then we'll take it. How was he faithful?
told you, Mike. Right? You can sleep on Mike.
Lion's Den. Exhibition of it. Because remember, and why? Because you leaving. Give me Hebrews 4:7. Because you got to lead. You got to lead that. If you want to experience the fruit, notice I always tell you about this, and I go back to the severing. I severed you from other people. If you want to experience the joy, the peace, the long suffering, the gentleness, the meekness, you know what I'm saying, the kindness, you have to leave your labor behind. So you're not experiencing this here because you still doing your own work. He's a food burglar. Tiptoe burglar. Deion Sanders, stay calling Leonard Fournette that, boy. Tiptoe burglar. Go ahead, man. Hebrews 4:8. Henry Jones. Well, y'all need to put him in acting school, boy, because that nigga got that face down pat. Man, you're going to be a young thespian.
No.
I just want to know if
A thespian is an actor. Shoot, he playing pretend now. He might as well monetize it. Because surely ain't nothing wrong with it.
For if Yahushua
He
had
looking like Marlo.
given them rest, then he would not afterward have spoken of any other day. There remaineth therefore rest to the people of Elohim, for he that is entered into his rest, he also ceased from his own works, as Elohim did from his.
He ceased from his own what?
His own works.
So again, you have to cease from your labor. So let's take ourselves to Romans 6, about verse 5. You know who Marlo Stansfield is?
Yeah, man, why you keep coming over like I'm a dog?
I don't know, nigga. Shoot, you might not remember the character's name. That's what Marlo looked like with that
Marlo, man.
with that Band-Aid on. He
These
looking like
niggas
Marlo.
don't know Money Marlo.
You know who
Talking
Marlo
to the wrong
Stanfield
person.
is?
These niggas don't know.
Anybody in here know who Marlo Stanfield is?
No.
That's
I
sad.
could have told you that.
Marlo was that nigga. That nigga said, "What's the point of having a crown if you keep getting
Man,
taken?"
that's Baltimore's finest, man.
Finest,
Tighten
nigga.
up, man.
Yeah, that's Marlo. That's who Maury around here looking like, little Marlo. Marlo looked like 50, all jokes aside, though. They had him with a little dimple in his face. That's sad. That's good television. And not because of no criminal activity. Well written, very well executed television.
Good black actors.
Good all the way around.
All the
Like,
way around.
when you talking about storytelling,
Them niggas actors.
dialogue, everything about it, like that junk, nigga wasn't even watching that junk because it's about the streets. Like, this was just a very well written, well told story. Well written, well told.
Was it the director?
The writer of the story was white.
Boy.
He was white. He was a Baltimore newspaper journalist.
He had a lot of his side. Makes sense.
Because you see how they layered it. Started with the streets, moved to the Russians, what they was doing, brought in the political aspect so that you could really get a grasp and a feel of what it's like to be in Baltimore.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, he definitely painted a good picture.
And it ended like how real life ended, because all the niggas ended up dead or in jail. And Marlo was dumb because you got out the game, paid, but you couldn't let it go. That nigga walked out there, you don't know who I am? That nigga said, F you, nigga. That nigga tried to shoot this nigga. He got,
Romans 6.
yeah, and said, make it 5 for me, though.
It says, for we have been planted together in the likeness of death, we shall be also in the likeness of his resurrection.
Planted in the light. Now what? Now let's sit back and look at it, right? Let's take a stroll down memory lane. What did the Mashiach state, right? He said, I didn't come to do what? My own will, but the will of him that sent me. What was the will of the person who sent him? To die. So read that verse 5 for me again.
For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, we shall also be in the likeness of his resurrection.
So if you planted in the likeness of his death, why would you be planted in the likeness of his death? Because you left your labor behind. Remember what it says in Corinthians, that if one have died, then we judge what? That we're all dead. And that we should no longer live unto ourselves, but live unto him who died for us. See, read that Job 39 and 11 for me again. I crank it up a notch. I knew we were going to spend a little time on that, what I asked y'all about, but I was just desirous to hear what you're talking about. Hey, you got fun? What you got going on?
Mention my name, bring the whole city out.
These not mine.
Well, who's on the hill?
There he is.
You always want to blame it on that man. Know them your fudge rounds.
They're my kids. I'm gonna eat them like that.
At least it was true.
Ooh, story changed, right? You know you done messed up, right? So you say you bought the cookies at 9:45. I just seen an interview with dude. Dude say his great grandparents were slaves. Say he grew up hating white people. The dude who I'm mentioning from Minister Society who played the detective, his name I forgot what his last name was. His name Bill Sutton, but He was just being interviewed, talking about how he was raised and growing up hating white people.
It's an ugly nigga.
Yeah, you know, he says people, you know, his great-grandparents literally were slaves, so. I think he said he was born in 1943. So I think he said he was 12 years old when Emmett Till died. But like what they knew was Emmett Till was a regular occurrence in the South. It's just that his mama was like, I want y'all to take pictures of his body. I want an open casket. I want everybody to see what they did to my son. Because there are 1,000 Emmett Tills. Because he was talking about where he was from, that they would have nigger barbecues. That they would literally just set a black man on fire, take pictures with their body. Yeah, they did stuff like this in the 40s, in the 50s. Now, we ain't talking about 1845. We're talking about not even 100 years ago.
Yeah, I knew that though. Especially
Ain't no telling.
anywhere rural in the South.
Oh, yeah, if it's rural, you already know.
Man, that junk like that right now still, I don't know, but man.
It's not as bad, but that's why you've seen so much kickback in this election in Florida and Georgia about trying to elect them Democrats, because these two states are Republican and racist. Like the further south you get, the quote unquote more liberal it gets. You know what I'm saying? But if you up here in Northeast Florida and in that Panhandle, oh well, that's old South right there.
Man, still don't know what's going on in Back Alley, Alabama, Back Alley, Mississippi.
Same
It
stuff.
ain't no big cities there.
There ain't no big cities.
The whole state is straight country. Niggas don't be knowing what's going
Watching
on
documentary on
at
Netflix.
all.
Still the Ku Klux Klan in them
The
cities.
biggest city in Alabama, Birmingham. Biggest city in Mississippi might be Biloxi. You know what I'm
And them
saying?
cities ain't big.
And they not at all.
So that means everywhere else, you don't really know what's going on.
Just like there ain't no big cities in Georgia. Only big city in Georgia is Atlanta.
Georgia like that too, yo.
Though you might hear people say Savannah, these small towns.
Hey,
They said
anything in
Savannah's about like the
between.
size of Jacksonville.
Huh?
Downtown. That's what I was told.
No, Savannah's small.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, literally downtown Jacksonville.
Man,
No, he's talking
Savannah-
about downtown.
I'm talking
The area,
about downtown
the area
Oh,
downtown.
yeah.
That's what I
Yeah, Savannah's smaller than Tallahassee almost, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Something
Like Florida is one of the few states that have what people would consider to be a large city. Like Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, Orlando, and Miami. Most states don't have that. Most states have one large city and everything else is rural.
And you wouldn't have no clue what's going on at all. Because it ain't nothing really reported. It ain't really, it's not going to make no news. Ain't nobody going to talk about it. They just going to know that's the norm.
That's why all them prisons be in all those towns, and that's why, because that's the main economy in all them towns. Like what I would tell you when we went to Stark.
That was it, right? Bradford County?
Bradford County, right?
Red Box.
It's 6-7 prisons in Bradford County.
And no real towns.
You know what I'm saying?
Like cities.
FSP is in Bradford County. That's Florida State Prison. Union Correctional Institution is in Bradford County. Bradford Correctional Institution is in Bradford County. Columbia is not too far from there. Death Row is at FSP and Union. You know what I'm saying? They call it the Triangle. There is nothing in Bradford County. You know what I'm saying? So the main driving force of the economy in Bradford County is the prison. Because everybody in the city work at the prison.
It was like 65% of the county population work at a prison or for a prison subsidiary.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's crazy.
But see, it's only one prison in Baker County. And that's Baker CI in the work camp. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why there's no prisons in Jacksonville. Because they didn't want any here. Because this is not a rural area. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see the P Farm is way, way out there on Lem Turner. You know what I'm saying? Because they want that way, way out there. So the number one driving force of the economy in Jacksonville is not jails. You know what I'm saying? But once you start talking about like Jefferson County, where Jefferson CI at, and Taylor County, where Taylor CI at, what's in Taylor County? Most of y'all ain't never even heard of Taylor County. The only in Jefferson County, the city is Monticello. Who in there hit my like, well, I'm trying to go to Monticello. Only reason why niggas know what Wakulla is because if you live in Tallahassee, you know it's the county to the south and they got a beach. Because nigga ain't nothing in Wakulla but racist white folks and pigs.
Nothing. Like riding to the springs, but ain't nothing but trailer trash and woods.
What's in Gaston County? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
She said her cousin was in prison there. I said, point.
Because that's all that's there. And I'm just talking about, if you was to take the time to look on a map of the states of America, you will see that there are not very many major cities in America.
And if you look at it, if it's still a prison in that county, it's the same as how it was in slavery, though. It's just that the niggas in the prison instead of out in the field.
I mean, yeah, because in most states,
'Cause in them-
it's still legal if you lock the Colorado just abolished that
What, make them work?
yeah, where it's not legal for them to have slaves in Colorado anymore. Like if you're in prison.
Yeah, because the 13th Amendment allows that. See, most people don't know that slavery is abolished except for punishment of a crime.
Right, and
Meaning,
that's why niggas got mad by Kanye when it's like, you don't even know what the amendment say.
and indeed, because they didn't, because he didn't say anything wrong according to what the amendment said. The state does not have to work you, but they have the lawful right to do so.
And they do.
But
And they do.
And a lot of them counties in Florida,
Work
you look like, even if you ride the Tallahassee on I-10, riding through Gaston County,
You see them niggas.
it's fields. It ain't nothing but fields. The same population of niggas that would have back then been in the field is the niggas that's in prison. Because them counties, they main money maker was the slaves back then. Because that's all that's there. It's rural. It's straight fields.
Yeah, and Canada.
So instead of niggas being out in the fields, the niggas just...
They got you out on the highway.
Yeah.
I told you,
Going with
I've experienced it firsthand. They take inmates and use them for jobs that they could pay civilians for. And the COs used to show us that we were making between $10 and $15 an hour per individual. And that the money was supposed to go in a pool for the inmates that they never saw. You know what I'm saying? And we working 40-hour weeks. So we grossing $400 a piece minimum every week. And you don't see none of that. And they don't pay you nothing in Florida. In some states, they'll pay you 5 cents an hour, 7 cents an hour, $1 an hour. You getting 5 days a month off your sentence. That's it. Not even 5. I take that back. 6 days.
But that's why they make it a private institution. You know, they ain't gotta worry about none of that.
The private institutions are the worst.
Yeah.
Because they lobby to get you locked up. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was shocked with all these black people talking about they wanted Hillary Clinton to be president. Like, do you niggas study? Do you niggas read? Because this woman's husband got more black people incarcerated than any president in modern history.
They talking about him, but it was how they was black president. Like, nah, that nigga definitely black.
Not at all. He showed you how white he was. Come on, let's roll. Eugene. Well, you almost caught the corner of that table. He sort of like he was finna get struck. What you be doing to that baby?
Yeah, but definitely. But them people that came to your house and seen that, boy, you definitely got to report.
You definitely going to jail.
We try to embrace that here.
Huh? See how just flinched up just now?
What you do to that baby?
He hit like that.
He was like this.
No, mommy, no.
Don't do it.
Come on, man.
I feel like all kids do that because they already know what it is.
Cause they know they
That
be
nigga
wrong,
hard
so
on
they-
the flinch. That nigga be looking at you
I mean,
dead.
I don't. I definitely seen something. I don't know. Just don't.
I just do her like that for fun.
Mark, cause that nigga look at you straight in your eye and dare you. That's why.
Give him what he looking for. Romans 65. Give him what he looking for.
Kill him with
Kill him with the shoulder.
It says, for we have been planning to get...
But that's
Well, you
one.
told me to go back to Job.
Oh yeah, Job 39:11. Read that for me again. That's one nigga they should have not let it get a hit song because that nigga definitely don't know how to act.
Will thou trust him because his strength is great, or will thou leave thy labor to him?
Leave your labor to him. Come on now. Come on back to the Romans. You need to leave your azar. Leave your labor. Leave it. Got to leave it behind. What did we read last night, right? Before we got finished, right? You got to be willing to forsake who? but hold on, and your what? And what else?
Your labor.
Your own life also. He said, if you are not willing to forsake all that you have, then you cannot be his disciple. So that's why I came back to it, because you got to be willing to leave your labor behind. When you leave your labor behind, and you look at your labor is the what? What would your labor be defined as? According to the epistle letters. Your labor would be defined as the works of the flesh. So that lasciviousness, that lust, that maliciousness, that spitefulness, that sedations, that pride, that envy, all of that, them your works. You have to lead that. You see how that go into the descendants that we got right here? Experiencing the fruit of the Son? Because go ahead and get them that while I'm thinking about it. Go on and read that Galatians 5 and 19. Let me just do it like that. It's better to do it like that. Galatians 5 and 19.
It says, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication.
Hold on, pause. So what is one of those labors you got to leave behind? What you got to leave behind? What? Adultery.
Fornication.
What else?
Uncleanness.
Uncleanliness.
Lasciviousness.
Lust. Well, that's what that means. Come on.
With idolatry.
Uh-huh.
Witchcraft.
Uh-huh.
Hatred.
Uh-huh.
Variance.
Uh-huh.
Emulation.
Mhm.
Wrath.
Mhm.
Strife.
Mhm.
Sedition.
Mhm.
And heresy.
And all well, y'all know what a heresy is, right?
Talk about it like that.
It's false doctrine. That's what a heresy is. When you tell lies, for lack of a better term. So these are the labors that you have to leave behind. So if you trust in him, then you're going to leave your labor with him. So where would you leave your labor at with him? Now go back to Romans 6 and 4. Make it 3. In the grave. You're going to leave them labors in the grave. Romans 6 and 3. That's where you're going to leave them at. You leaving it with him. You dead with him, right? That's where you're going to leave it at. Roll with it, man.
It says, for we have been planted together in the likeness of death, we shall also be in the likeness of his resurrection.
Yes, sir.
Knowing this,
Knowing what?
that our old body, or our old man, is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed.
It might be what?
Be destroyed.
Be what?
Destroyed.
So you don't left your labor behind with him, right? You see how that worked? And then guess what? What does John 12 and 23 say, right? He said, except the corn of wheat, it abide alone. He said, but if it die, so then what is that fruit you bringing? Give him that Galatians and read the fruit to him. Because this is what you need to be. Because if you experience this fruit, then what have you actually experienced? Based off what we looked at last night. That is true. What you've experienced is the Ruach HaKodesh, because now he dwelling in you. If you don't experience that fruit, then you ain't experienced the Ruach, which means you won't experience eternal life because he don't dwell with you. Remember what did we read in John? Greater is who?
He that is in me.
Than he that is in the world. Somebody in the world ain't got nothing in them. Guess what, right? At the end of the day, how much, let's sit back and I'm going to just choose him because he black and we all know who he is. You look at Michael Jordan, right? He's seen and done a lot of great things, right? But don't you know if you're a poor black man and you got the Ruach HaKodesh in you that you greater than him? I don't care how many shoes he sell. I don't care how much money he made. I don't care what he did on the basketball court. I don't care about all the shows LeBron got going on, all the dunks that he made. According to the Yahuwah Elohim, Bahashem Yahushua, if that Ruach HaKodesh is in you, you're greater than him. And you know why you greater than him? Because he ain't got nothing in him. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, y'all don't care nothing about a nigga dunking in basketball. He don't care nothing about how many shoes you sell. He don't care about how funny you are. He don't care how good you can rap. All he care about is who serve me and who don't. And if you don't serve him, you less than spit to him, according to his own word. He said he will count you as spittle. That's hard, ain't it? Y'all know how you feel about spit.
A little dumb.
Think about that. Let that sit back and marinate in your mind. Somebody who ain't got no ruach. Because when we look at these people on a natural level, you look at them as, that means that if you was in the word and you know that Yahusha was in you, you wouldn't even stand in awe of these people. You wouldn't even be impressed. You wouldn't even be impressed. Like, who is this nigga? Like, who is you to me? You ain't nobody to me, nigga. What do you really do? You don't really do nothing. Does that mean on the flip side, you couldn't acknowledge, yeah, brother, you got some talent, man. You be doing your thing. But you know how niggas act. Niggas act like celebrities can't do nothing wrong. I seen somebody the other day talking about free Bill Cosby. Free that nigga for what? Why, you only believe he didn't do it because he Bill Cosby, but the nigga around the corner who raping hoes, and he be like this here, keep that nigga in jail. First thing nigga screaming, oh, they trying to get him for buying NBC, they gonna get it. Man, nigga, that was 22 years ago and he had help. That nigga ain't got enough money to buy NBC.
I said the same thing about people said about that. They said, like, nigga had a whole court case in 98. Why am I trying to kill him then?
Then,
Right, 20 years ago, now somebody trying to kill him.
and this nigga 83 years old. But you know what niggas looking at? Doctor said, he ain't supposed to die. He's alkaline. Nigga, he gonna die one day. What do you mean?
Nigga gonna die?
He dust and ashes, nigga. His time is up.
Right.
These niggas really believe that.
Nigga died like that.
That nigga ain't even live longer than a regular nigga.
But look at this though. But you know why? But you know why it's like that? You know why it's like that? Because they don't trust in Yah. So they looking for any and everything to keep them on this earth because they don't believe in Yah.
They're looking for their fountain.
They don't believe in Yah. No, I'm talking about, but the people who doing this are people who say they believe in Yah. Nigga think, oh, if I'm vegan, you're gonna be healthier. You can vegan and die. Everybody gonna die. Everybody gonna die. I don't care how healthy you eat. I don't care what you do. But you know why? Because niggas is handlebar riders, man. That's what niggas is. Niggas like the handlebar ride. You know what I'm saying? No, I ain't riding on no handlebars.
Right?
Yeah, just use your imagination.
I ain't trying to imagine that.
No, I'm just saying. I just use that instead of saying niggas swag riders. Niggas handlebar riders, though. Niggas handlebar riders. Niggas quick to sit back and ride on a nigga huffing. You know what I'm saying? Get off my stuff, man.
We ain't never rock like that. We ain't rock like that. Good.
Shoot. On them beach cruises, niggas definitely on the handlebars.
We ain't ride beach cruises in the hood.
Shoot. Niggas had plenty of beach cruises. We stole them every day. Shoot, nigga, if you riding pegs, you riding on stunt bikes. Everybody ain't had no stunt bikes. Some nigga, you gotta get on the handlebar, cuz.
That's how we roll.
Yeah, shit.
My boots are better.
Yeah, nigga, we talking about the 90s, nigga.
Yeah, the 90s,
You stealing what you could steal. Niggas had mongoose. Nigga ain't riding on no peg. Niggas stealing what they can steal. Nigga ain't talking about, oh, that's not a mongoose. Shoot, that's a free bike. He hit. Niggas wanted beach cruisers anyway. Nigga, that's a smooth ride. We just stole plenty of bikes in our time. White folks come out the house, mad nigger. Shoot, I done had plenty of bikes stolen from me. Nigga ain't like to ride on the handlebars of them mountain bikes though. Them things ain't comfortable.
It went to the bike.
Come on, man. You don't want one of them. You don't want to ride on no mountain bike. Nigga be like this here, boy, ride him on the handlebar. Nigga say, I'm gonna walk, bro. Walk.
Nah, we got caught.
I remember one time I had Muffin riding on the handlebars. Her foot got stuck in the tire. She was about 8. She was a soldier though.
Something happened like that to me.
Muffin was a soldier. Muffin was a tricycle.
Big, like old school big tricycle.
Oh, tell me something.
Sitting on the back wheel.
Tell me something, cause you sound like you look too old to be on
So it was like a big old school tricycle. I don't know if they can make them.
They might do, probably only for the circus. Look at little Muffin. It wasn't your fault, Muffin. It was my fault your foot got stuck in the tire. That was my fault. She must remember that.
She was dead. She was dead.
She took it like a soldier though. Muffin was a tough child. She was a tough child. Come on, man.
Galatians
5:22. Just want to run them fruits down real quick.
But the fruits of the Ruach is love, joy,
Love, joy.
peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith.
Pause. Now let me say something, right? When you look at 1 Corinthians 13, you said one of the fruits of the Spirit was love, right? And you see how long suffering was one of the things where he said love war. And if you see you got gentleness, that means that's where you got that kindness coming in at. When you hear that meekness, that's where you got love don't vaunt itself or lift itself up. When you got that goodness, that means love don't hate or provoke or despise. You see how all these things interconnect? Keep on going, man.
Meekness, temperance, against such thing there's no Torah.
See that self-control, that tie into love don't seek our own, because you can control yourself and you're not going to do what you want to do. You see, these things are not separate from one another. They all go together. They all go together. And it's because you left your labor behind. See, if you don't leave your labor behind, then you're not going to experience that fruit and you're going to perish. Because remember, he said he's looking for fruit. He say some 30, some 60, some 100-fold. The only way you're going to put fruit is you leave your labor behind. Leave your works behind. Can't do what you want to do. Come back to Romans 6 and finish that for me, please. See, a lot of people in this life want to do what they want to do. Like this here, man, we be joking about it, but all jokes aside, Lil Duval gonna send a lot of people to hell. Talking about living their best life, cause that code word on, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
It's just like YOLO. Same thing.
Don't let a sinner man from your hometown get you cast out. But guess what, y'all gonna look at you? You lived your best life? He said, I ain't about to go back and forth with you either. Toss him. Toss him. Ooh, but he ain't.
He can say something like that on Judgment Day too.
He can say whatever he want, truth be told. He in control. Shoot. He can do a Mississippi jig if he want to.
That nigga like that be saying nothing.
He ain't gonna say
That boy
nothing.
probably gonna be.
Go sit down. He gonna open that book up, and if your name in that book, he don't want to talk.
He ain't even talking about it.
But you know how many niggas you gotta run down?
I ain't got time to talk to you. You know the only people he talking to? His faithful servants. That's the only people he talking to. He the only people I got a word for. You know. Now I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Why you think he got a word for his servants and not a word for the unbelievers?
Cause he don't know him. What he got to say?
I
to
take
him?
that because you know why? Because I gave you a word before you came,
Yeah.
and you ain't want to hear it. So now you want me to talk to you. See, I was talking to you before you got here.
I don't even know you now.
I don't want to talk. Move along.
Yeah. That's all he owe you.
Yeah. That's all. You know we gotta say nothing.
All about time of peace.
Oh, time of war. Yeah, all day long. He ain't want to talk. Who talking to time of war? You know the only thing he gonna say? Bind him hand and foot and cast him in the outer darkness. That's all they got to say. Bind him hand. Get that nigga out my sight. Gnashing the teeth. Get that nigga out my sight. See, people think it's a game because you don't really want to envision that he gonna do that. But he gonna do that. Because you didn't want to leave your work behind. Let's finish that Job 3, or finish that Romans 6, my bad.
Wonderful.
Indeed. Because guess what? Because he could have said, screw everybody, I'm going to let you all perish and start all over again.
What he did with Noah, though. Them niggas ain't getting no words.
They got word. They got
I'm
word.
saying as far as getting saved.
That it did. The Apostle Peter wrote that Moses was a preacher of righteousness. I mean, Noah was a preacher of righteousness. So they heard something. Because you got to remember, y'all just. I ain't going to take you up out of here and not let you hear nothing. I'm going to tell you.
I'm thinking like everybody that was alive before him.
I mean, they all heard the word. Everybody heard the word.
From somebody.
From somebody. Somebody heard the word. You heard something. Because guess what? If I let you leave here and you ain't heard nothing, I'm unjust. I can't kill you. I can't kill you for what you don't know. I can kill you for all I got to do to you. I told y'all this before. That man ain't got to run down that whole word to you. All he got to be like this here.
But I was thinking about when they say the people that perished without.
Oh, but I mean, you ain't in covenant with them. Them people who came before Noah was all Adam's seed, so they all got to get it.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
They all got to get it. But guess what? Even still in the midst of that, with the people in Babel, they still knew who y'all was. So he had somebody telling them something. They definitely knew because they said, we want to go meet y'all. They in Nimrod land. They knew who he
I'm
was.
thinking about all the booty scratches out there and the bush.
And they all heard.
I'm talking about now.
Shoot, they all getting it. They all just, even if they don't get it, they still going. But they getting it.
Yeah, that's all.
Because what did he, no, we going to read it today. What did he say though? When this gospel go out into what? They going to hear it. Or you going to hear about it. Or you going to hear about it. This like I tell people before, man. Y'all be thinking niggas don't be knowing? Oh, niggas be knowing. Oh, I know the Sabbath on such and such day. You tell you, how many times y'all done ran to some of y'all people and told them that and they say they knew that already?
I already know people know what the word
They know what it say. Man, my mama say before she knew anything about anything, she knew that you weren't supposed to marry somebody who had been married. She hadn't read it. People know this stuff. They walk around and play ignorant. That's why I ain't finna bust down on no Christian for what. Them niggas know what they doing.
I think just looking at them Asian and Chinese folks like that.
They know too. You know how many? You know how many Christians? Yeah. Nigga, it's Asian churches over here. It's Korean churches over here. Man, these niggas, just because they don't understand it is understanding it. They do, because guess what? The communists over there kill Christians. But I'm just telling you is that you looking at it, do they understand it like you? No, they know it. They know it. They know it. They done heard. They done heard. Guess what? And I done told you this before. When you walk, listen to me. Yeah, I done told you this before. Psalms 19. All you got to do, we done went over that before. You remember that? All you got to do is look in the sky, tell the gospel. You going to hell. You ain't got to hear. Because he showed it to you when you looked at it at night. You like the stargaze? Like looking at the star while you hunt your girlfriend? Don't matter. He just bear witness against you. That's what people like to do, though. You know why? Shoot, you got some people do it on the beach. Some people do it in the grass. Come on, man. Y'all don't...
I didn't know you used to live like that.
I didn't used to live like that, but I know plenty who did. Who does that? A lot of people. No, how many of y'all times
You done got you some out though.
No, I know I'm good on that. I'm good on that. I'm good on that. I don't want nothing to do with that. You willing to do all that there? You ain't my caliber of woman. You was a good slut. You was a good slut. But listen what I'm telling you though. We done went over this before a long time ago. Y'all know it says Psalms 19 and 7. I mean about 19 and 3 or 4 it tell you that the heavens declare the gospel. I told y'all a long time ago, every time that sun set. Huh? Declaring the gospel. Guess what? You ain't got to hear no word because you see it every day. Either way it go, y'all got you. Play with it. Play with it. That man right with it, boy. You ain't finna slide out the way. Come on, man. That man ain't playing with nobody. Romans 6, man. I got to crank it up. Let's roll.
It said, now we be dead with the Mashiach. We believe that we shall also live with him. Knowing that the Mashiach being raised from the dead dieth no more, death hath no more dominion over him. For in that he died unto sin once, but in that he liveth unto Elohim.
He lived under. Remember, let's take a roll down to Psalm 16 and 4. Let's look at a little bit of hope. Psalm 16 and 4, just a little bit of hope. Cause we looked at, we'll come back to dealing with what we were looking at. I just wanted to get that labor in, but I need to hit some of this stuff and I need to hit it quick. Psalm 16 and 4.
It says, their sorrow shall be multiplied that hasten after another Elohim.
Hold on, they sorrow shall be what?
Shall be multiplied.
Yeah, where y'all see that at? Do y'all know where y'all can see that at in the New Testament? We talking about somebody's sorrow gonna be multiplied that chase after another God. You know in the book of Revelation it tell you that he gonna do what? Bring all manner of plagues on people and they ain't gonna stop doing what? They ain't gonna stop serving their God. So he gonna multiply their sorrows. He gonna drop. Who knows some of the plagues he said he was gonna drop? Wild locusts, correct. Anybody else know a plague he said he was gonna drop? What? In the book of Revelation.
All the plagues, man.
Yeah, I need some specific. He said he gonna turn the water into blood. What else he said he was gonna do?
Famine.
Famine. But he also said he was gonna do something he didn't do to Egypt to the people. You know what that was? He did it to Job. Boils. He was gonna put him down there with some boils that men would do what?
Wish they were dead.
Wish they were dead and death gonna flee from them. All because they wanted to serve other gods. You know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta leave your serve other gods. You know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta leave your lay behind. That's ugly. See, it ain't a real situation till you see a nigga talking about, I got boils and they itch. And you like this here, oh boy. Feel sorry for you. But guess what? They gonna hate you. You know why they gonna hate you? Because guess what you gonna be doing? Repent and believe the gospel. Praise be to the Lamb. For the vials of Elohim have been unleashed. See, you ain't going to be like, you bastard white man, you going to die. You're going to say exactly what the plagues have been unleashed under all the ungodly. Repent and believe the gospel and be ye saved. And they going to be like, we got to kill this man. See, that junk ain't real to you. See, I hate to tell, I'm like this here, boy. I done told you this before. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. A lot of people who you say you love, well, them niggas going to get you locked up and have you killed. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. When it really get real and them lines get drawn, and you got to sit back and they got to make a decision between y'all and the beast, or they choosing the beast. If their name ain't written in heaven, they choosing the beast. They not choosing you. I don't care how much they say they love you. They going to choose themselves before they choose you. You know what I'm talking about? When the people talking about they finna go to jail, lock niggas' heads off, or you think, oh, that's my baby. Nigga be like, screw that nigga. Screw that nigga. Who? I ain't dying for you. Because they don't love y'all like that, so why would they lay their life down for you? Do you know what I'm saying? Shoot, some of these niggas, it's somebody in their room gonna tell on a nigga. I tell you where them niggas at right now. I can't go to jail. I heard they rape people in there. Come on, man. Keep on rolling. We're in Psalm 16. Eugene!
We have 4. Their sorrow shall be multiplied that hasten after another Elohim, that drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names unto my lips.
He said don't do what? Don't take their name up in their lip.
It says, Yahuwah is the portion of mine inheritance and of my cup. Thou maintainest my lot. The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage.
A goodly what?
Heritage.
So if he got a goodly heritage, what he got? A good inheritance. Come on.
I will Baruch Yahuwah who hath given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons.
What do you think he mean when he say my reins instruct me in the night seasons? What do y'all know what reins is? What in Hebrew what that is?
His heart.
It's inward parts. It's kidneys. So we talked about it last night. So if the word is in you, and you know what that is, night seasons, this is one of my shot getting ready to die. The word taught him to go ahead and lay his life down because you'll get up. So this is supposed to remind you in the night seasons when you're in trouble, when you're in turmoil, if you allow the word that's inside you to teach you as you being tried, because you already know I got a good inheritance in heaven. Give him 1 Peter 1 and 4 since you mentioned that. Make it verse 3. See, a lot of people don't believe in that inheritance. See, a lot of them think it's a game. See, guess what, right? You can't pray your way into salvation. You can't good works your way into salvation. What I mean in that there is doing things that feel like, you know how Christian people like to do it and worldly people like to do it. Pass out a little food, pass out a little draws. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Donate a little money. They think that you can buy your way in. Some people think you can tithe your way in. Some people really believe that. You can't do that. They ain't gonna be nothing to you. They ain't gonna do nothing for you. They ain't gonna do nothing for you. I told you that. I always tell y'all this here, boy. True righteousness is despised. People don't like it. I'm trying to tell you because it shows the difference between you and them. There's a reason why day and night can't exist in the same space. Because they're opposed to one another. They can't meet an agreement. And this world hate righteousness. I told you like this here, man. Niggas can scream all that junk. They hate us because we Israelites. And them niggas gonna be like this here. Them gonna be the first niggas to kill you. Because they probably hate righteousness themselves. I told you before, man, this is just my opinion. The word backed me up, though. I don't trust now nigga that say you can't keep the book. I don't trust now nigga who say that. Because I know you can't be from y'all telling me that. I can't envision in my mind y'all telling me you can't keep my word. I ain't never read nowhere in the book where this man said that. Nowhere. Nowhere have I ever where he said, thus saith Yah, you can't do what I say. I ain't never seen Yahushua say, I'm finna die because you niggas can't do what I say. You'll never be able to do it. I don't trust a nigga who say that. I'm telling you, man, we gonna discuss it when we get finished. Like, you know, people like mediocre. You try to push a nigga get kicked back. Or you're too hard, you're too mean. You're just a, what's the word I want to use? Just a sorry sack of excrement that ought to be burned and disposed of quickly. You know what I'm saying? Because you settle for mediocrity and make excuses for being average because you don't want to get up off your behind and push the stuff that you say you want to do. And you feel you upset because somebody telling you you better than that. What are you doing? Now you offended. Now what we were discussing earlier, and I would say that's a beta male in my opinion, as the terminology they like to use. I have never seen a real man in my life that would get offended if his woman told him, baby, what you doing? No, you better than this. You know that, right? You know you need to tighten up on your bike stroke. What most of these niggas do now, bruh? These hoes be tripping, bruh. Well, what did she say, my nigga? She told me I needed to maintain to my word. Nigga, what? How that sound? That don't make sense. That don't make sense. You should want somebody to push you. Shoot, we gonna discuss it. If you married, y'all should be pushing each other. Come on, man. Would you like a chair muffin? I know that man said he would like for y'all to stack those chairs and those things at 10 a row. Stack them nicely. He said it really grinds his gears when they're crooked. He really told me that. He said when he came in, he said, man, these doggone people, so I'm gonna show you a little trick because I hated them. Never put these chairs up here right.
I would like to see you sign.
That definitely was his. He said them chairs. Come on, man. Come on, man. You should have heard him. And guess what he did? Straightened out every row of them chairs. Come on, man.
You want a little Peter?
Yeah, 1 Peter 1 and 3. Not Paul. I don't want a little Peter. I want no people. I don't want no people.
I want first Peter.
I want first Cephas. Ha ha! You didn't see that coming, did you? Yeah, let me get first Cephas. How many of y'all name your son Cephas? You name your son Cephas?
I work with a nigga called that.
I know. I mean, you got a lot of older black people named Cephas.
I'm gonna definitely call him old Greek Cephas.
I'll call that nigga Cephas.
You said 1 and 1?
1 and 3. Little Cephas.
It said Baruch be Elohim, and our Abba, our Master Yahushua Mashiach, according to his abundant mercy, have begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua Mashiach from the dead.
Yes, sir.
To an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away.
It don't do what?
Fadeth not
So
away.
this is your inheritance you get when you get tried in your night seasons. You gonna get tried. How many of y'all felt like you got tried and you ain't remember no word when you got tried? Don't tell no lie. See, that ain't never a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Because that means it's one or two things going on. You ain't laid the word up in your heart, or you let what it is you want to do overpower the word, and you went on ahead and went and did what you want to do. And that ain't good. Now, of course, I would hope that didn't happen in any recently. Go ahead. Oh, no, we good. You really needed to do that, huh?
Nah, I didn't.
You know, he did his
For
little,
your ears only, bro.
he did
Yours
it.
probably heard.
You know, he did his little thing. You know the thing he liked to
That's how I do.
Pause.
do. Romans 16.
You know the little thing you like. Pause. Big pause.
Big pause.
Romans 6.
No, Psalm 16, man. Yeah, shit, man. I know Mom Duke said she thought they were going to let her out this weekend. They told her, ha, stay 3-4 more days. No, they said they might have to drain it again.
It said, Al Baruch, you who have given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night
See
season.
how them two things go together? If he gave you counsel, he gave you a recommended course of action, and that's what's going to give you... Eugene. Get a haircut, you don't know how to act, huh? I guess so. Come on.
It says, I have set you who are always before me, because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad.
His heart is what?
My heart is glad.
Go ahead.
My esteem rejoice, and my flesh also rest in hope.
Rest in hope. Pause. So that word for hope here is batak. That means safety. We got bat, tet, and hay. I'll give you a couple moments to come up with something for you to say. So his flesh rests in hope. You say, behold the what? That ain't tau, that's tet.
Go down, grandson.
Man was raised on contains me in the house.
All right. Anybody else?
Okay. Right.
Y'all know what Proverbs say, right? The name of y'all is like a what? Everybody that run into it, what? So if you got this flesh that your flesh rests in hope, what you gonna come up with? He said the man with raised arms contain the house, or what you say?
I got one. I say surround the house.
Surrounded. Eugene, find yourself somewhere to sit down. Go over there with your mother. Go over there with the woman who birthed you. I think it's Proverbs 18 and 10. I think it's Proverbs 18 and 10. That's what it is?
Yep.
18.
You want the money like that?
Got it. All right, y'all. Who got something for me? Or we gonna go with what Johnny got?
What Johnny said?
What'd you say?
So man was raised on contains me in the house.
Contains you in the house. What you got?
I put the greatness in the house of the son, or the whole generosity in the house of the son.
Behold, we got. We'll write both of them on here. So, man with raised arms. You said contain the house.
Yeah.
And what you say?
Oh, behold the greatness in the house.
Behold the greatness of the house.
Greatness contained in the house.
Greatness contained in the house. Anybody else? I'll try to work both of them. You got something? Hey, that doesn't mean to go bother her. It's an isolation for a reason. So let her be isolated. Now, when you look at it, he said his flesh rests in hope. Why would your flesh be resting in the hope? Give him verse 10 to finish it off.
It says, for thou wilt not leave my soul in Sheol, neither wilt thou suffer thy Kadash one to see corruption.
So we talking about the resurrection of the dead here.
Mark.
So this, Mark, now you want to join in the corner? You want to join him?
He said yes.
Then get from over there.
Go sit down.
Be wise. Hey, you need to follow your orders, because you're not following your orders. You need to follow your orders.
Come on now.
I'm talking about you. And close your
I
legs.
just told her to sit in the corner.
Oh. She put her face in the corner.
Yeah, that was she
Come on.
went to bed. I didn't object.
She decided to object. Well, Nael's going to keep you company.
No, don't put your finger over there. No. What time is it? I'm trying, please.
So when you look at that, right, you say, the man, hey, Marvin, go over there.
Got your hole behind them. Go sit down.
Around here looking like a plumber.
Wide crack too.
Get up and go sit down. So, would you say the man with raised arm contains the house? And you got greatness is contained in the house? Let's take a look at that, right? Now go back to what we were talking about in 1 John 4:4. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. When you have that hope, then what are you hoping to receive? Eternal life. Let's take a look at, do I want that? I don't want that. I want y'all to come over here to Psalms 119. I want you to take a look at verse 62. Psalms 119. Still on your phone. Psalms 119 and verse 62.
It says, at midnight I will rise to give thanks unto thee because of thy righteous judgments. I am a companion of all them that fear thee, and of them that keep thy precepts. The earth, O Yahuwah, is full of thy mercy. Teach me thy statutes.
Pause. He said the earth is full of your what? His mercy. Come on with it.
Teach me thy statutes.
Come on with it.
Thou hast dealt well with thy servant, O Yahuwah, according to thy word.
He did what?
He had dealt well with thy servant, according to thy word. Teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I have believed thy commandments.
You what?
I have believed thy commandments.
What would that word be for believe? It would be aman. Y'all remember aman, don't you? But to be conforming to support, to be faithful in the trust, you trust his word. Go ahead. That's why you got hope. Come on.
Thou, before I was afflicted, I went astray.
Before you were what?
Before I was afflicted, I went astray.
Let me ask y'all a question. Before y'all bust you upside your head, was you going astray? There's a reason why he stated that. Go ahead.
But now have I kept thy word.
What verse you in?
68.
Dang, I definitely didn't hear 66. Give me 66.
It said, teach me good judgment and knowledge, for I have believed thy commandments. Yeah, because you said that was wrong.
No, that's because it's a different word. That's what people. So it's a different word for hope there. That's all I want to do.
But you said that was wrong.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I had wrote it down. That's a different word. The word for hope here is sabah. I'll give you a moment. You come up with something for that. You got a Shana, Bot, and a Raj. I'll give you a couple seconds. Shana, Bot, and a Raj. I had another word, but I forgot to write down the verse where it came from. So that was highly unfortunate. Give me read verse 81. It was verse 81.
It said, my soul fainteth for thy salvation, but I hope in thy word.
So that's what it is. That's where that sabar come in at. You hope in his word. You faint for his salvation. So what would you say, Stanley?
I got the thoughts of the sun will consume you.
Thoughts of the son to consume you. Anybody else? You probably want to use prayer. You don't want to use consume.
Yeah, I was obviously the thoughts of the highest payment to the house.
So that's what your hope is going to do. And again, this is tying back to this hope because his flesh rested in it. But the key thing is now, let's look at two examples. Who had hope to endure a particular situation? Who can give me two people who had hope to endure a particular situation? Because remember, we're looking at believe all things, endure all things, bear all things, and hope in all things. So we looked at two people who left their labor, as forth as the fruit that they gained. But can you think of two people who held on to their hope in a situation where it looked like there was no hope? You look at Job. Who else you got? You got somebody?
I would say Joseph.
Joseph. Joseph is acceptable. What hope did Joseph have that he held on to?
Y'all was going to deliver him. He was going to be made right as long as he did what he was supposed to.
But in what situation? We need to be specific.
You can be with him and during the temptation and getting put in prison.
That's what I'm saying. We got to be specific because he had hope he was going to get out of prison. Didn't he go to prison? That's what I'm talking about because there's other people. He got to be specific. They may not know that.
What about Jacob?
You look at Jacob. What did Jacob have hope in?
When he was, all them years he was serving LeBron.
All the years he was serving Laban to get Rachel, he had hope he was going to get it. Why?
Yeah, he was being lied to and tricked.
Indeed. Indeed. Let's take a look at something, right? I want you to come to the book of Esther. Because if you're going to hope for something, guess what you would have to be able to do? What would you have to be able to do? Wait, or you would have to endure. Correct. You'd have to wait. You know, endurance is probably the weakest point that most people have because you can't take nothing. And the minute stuff, remember what it said? My soul faint for your salvation. I'm enduring for it. Now we have 3 different words for endure. 3 different ones. One you're familiar with. One is your call. Does anybody remember what your call means? While you thinking on it, while he get this Esther 8 and 3, go ahead and read it. What time we got? 4:30. Esther 8 and 3.
It says, and Esther spake yet again before the Moloch and fell down at his feet and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite and his
What is
device.
Haman the Agagite getting ready to do to these people?
Persecute.
He about to get ready to kill him. He about to persecute him. So in the midst of what they doing, they finna do all 3. They finna bear something. You know what I'm talking about? They got to be able to endure, and they also have belief and hope. Go ahead.
It says, then the Moloch held out the golden scepter towards Esther. So Esther rose and stood before the Moloch. And he said, if it please the Moloch, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seemed right before the Moloch, and I be pleasing to his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letter devised by Haman, the son of Hamadiah, the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Yahudim which are in the Malachim's provinces.
Mm-hmm.
For how can I endure to see the evil that
How can he
shall
what?
come into my people?
How can you what?
Endure
To see the what?
the evil that shall come into my people.
Now, when you're looking at endure, get Job 3 and 20. We just don't look at the 2 places where it's, because she's saying, how can she gonna be able to endure? Now we know it. Mordecai told her what to do. Did they endure that situation? And they came out of that situation. See, you have to be able to bear something. You have to have the ability to endure or the ability to overcome, because that's what your call means. It means to overcome or to prevail or to have strength. Well, your strength is going to be rooted in your hope. And your hope is going to be rooted in the word. And if you don't have that, then you're not going to be able to believe anything. Well, put it this way. If you don't believe it, then you're not going to have any hope. And if you don't have any hope, then of course you're not going to endure or bear anything. You're going to walk away. You're not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see people, what did that parable say? Say that because they didn't believe the word, didn't have any root, by and by, when tribulation or persecution came, they were offended. Because you didn't believe it, so you didn't have any expectation of receiving anything. So of course you're not going to endure, and of course you're not going to bear whatever it is that you're going through. You're not going to take it. You're going to fold. That's why a lot of people fold. Just like you talking about this morning like this here, I done heard that line before. Niggas say anything that sounds good until a nigga try you, until he tries you. Like we read in that psalm, or in that Psalm 16. My reins are tried in the night seasons. Okay, when it come time, if you actually believe the word and stuff begins to happen, this when you get put to the test. Do you really believe and hope in him? You know what I'm saying? See, we believe in hope in the world. That's why everybody got upset by the election. See, you believed and hoped in that. You know what I'm saying? You hope that if Andrew Gillum or Stacey Abrams became governor, then that means Trump wouldn't be president in 2020 and your life is just going to be magically better because you trust in man. And it's not has anything to do with those individual people. It's the fact that you trust in man. You know what I'm saying? Which is what I was telling y'all about a couple weeks ago. The system is man-made. Yah is not a part of the system at all. So anything about it, if you say you are Yah, you should scrutinize it. It shouldn't just be going with the flow. That's what they doing. You're supposed to be wiser than that. He said to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. We know that that's their system. You can't topple it or overthrow it, but you just can't be simple as being, well, that's just what they do. When you know it's a nefarious system made by man for the benefit of man and the pleasing of the flesh. You have to be wiser than that. It just is what it is. It's not like we live in a righteous government that is moving by the word of Yah. That's not like that. We're not living in that. I don't care what country on the earth you reside in. So you're supposed to be cognizant and aware of what are their aims, because these are carnal-minded people making statutes and legislation with carnal intentions. Go ahead.
Job 3.
And 20. Give me 17.
It say there the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest.
Uh-huh.
There the prisoners rest together, they hear not the voice of the oppressor. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master.
That's the grave.
Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul.
You see that light is given to those that's in misery, which is what? Blessed are those that are mourn, because they're going to be comforted. Because in him was the light, and the light is the life of men. When you look at Lazarus, it said the rich man lived great, and Lazarus had got evil things. But when he died, the situation switched. You know what I'm saying? Now the rich man is in the flame talking about, give me some water to cool my tongue, I'm being tormented. And Lazarus is chilling, which goes back to the point of what I was telling you before. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Because in the world, that rich man, he looked like he was the one. But in the eyesight of Yah didn't see him. He meant absolutely nothing to him. Because that's how we judge stuff. This is how we've allowed the world to let us think. That the most stuff and fame and notoriety and money and material stuff that people got, how that makes them a good person. That just might mean they're a hustler. That might mean they're a business person. And truth be told, to a certain extent, in business, you have to be ruthless. That don't mean you got to be ungodly, but you got to be ruthless. Because there's no emotion in business. You know what I'm saying? None whatsoever. You know why a lot of people fail in business? Because they thinking with their emotions. Business is numbers. Numbers don't have emotions. Not dealing with customers has emotions. You know what I'm saying? Because you're dealing with people. But when you talk about business itself, you would have to make a move. Why you think the NFL don't have a problem cutting players? Because they got to be ruthless. It's a business. And players get offended. And what you always hear the players say, I learned it was a business today. You should have known that before you came. Anytime you're dealing with a balance sheet and a financial statement, them people care about numbers. You know the sad part is, probably 50% of the population don't even know what a financial statement or a balance sheet look like. You know what I'm saying? Don't even know what it look like. Worst part is, they probably teach it in school. I know they taught us. They taught it to me in high school. You know, I ain't sure. I learned that. I took economics. They definitely sold it that. And I took accounting. You look and you don't know what that is? You never seen a balance sheet?
No, not there.
But the reason I ain't saying that there's anything wrong, because people haven't seen it. You're not taught to go in that direction to even know what that is. You know what I'm saying? That ain't nobody's fault. What does America tell you to do? You know why America tell you go to high school, go to college, get a degree, and get a job? Because it furthers their system. It furthers what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? That's why they make it set up the way you got to have a degree to have a certain amount of jobs, because you got to go through their system. 9 times out of 10, you got to get their loans. So 9 times out of 10, you in debt. And now you're working the rest of your life off to pay your debt. You know what I'm saying? Now you slaving for a weekend. I seen a lady saying 5 more years, I have 5 weeks of vacation. I said, that's horrible. I don't know. She was saying she got PTO and all this other stuff, but she was like just straight, I can take a vacation. I'm like, that's horrible.
It do take a long time to get 5 weeks paid.
Yeah, paid vacation.
You can take a vacation. You ain't gonna get every single day cash in the bank.
I was sad. I said, dang, that's rough. You gotta, it take a year for you to get a week. That's messed up. Like, that ain't right. But I'm saying that is because, but overseas in a lot of countries, they don't do their employees like that. You know what I'm saying? I told you that I picked a lady up, man. She was in Spain. She said at 12, every siesta, everybody go take a nap. Everything closes and everybody goes home.
Yes, on Monday, and she said everything closed at 5 o'clock. She feel like nobody told her that everything closed at 5 o'clock.
Go home. See, they don't do that here. That's what I'm telling you. Like, the world don't operate like how these people operate. They don't care nothing about you. And all they trying to do is to make sure you're a slave to them. And then we promote it and boast in it and love it. You know what I'm saying? Now think about it. Imagine if everything in America closed at 5 o'clock.
Half of y'all niggas won't be able to do nothing but go home and go to bed.
But you know why they do that in Europe and all those other countries like that? Because they emphasize happiness in your family over profit. You know what I'm saying? So they really want you to go home to your family and spend time with them versus being on this job 12 hours and 16 hours a day. See, most of us don't know that because we don't even know people outside of this country. We don't read things about stuff outside of this country, or we haven't been outside of this country, so we don't know that. So you think the whole world work like how we work, and they don't. And they don't. They ain't around here. You don't hear nobody in the world get rich or die trying. They only say that stupid stuff over here. Do you know what I'm saying?
No day at all.
No, they don't do that over there. Now, every country ain't like that, but in Europe mainly, that's how their whole system set up. You know, in London, they almost had a full-fledged riot when they told them people they had to pay for college education because it was free. They didn't pay to go to college over there. So imagine if it was like that here. How many more people would want to go to college? Most people don't want to go to college because I'm not trying to be $80,000 in debt when I'm finished. You know what I'm saying? To get a job that's only going to pay me $60,000, $70,000. And just like I posted the other day because I've been seeing it, like the rental rates in Jacksonville is increasing rapidly every single day. Why? Because they building more and more stuff and more people moving down here. So it's going to cause the rates to go up, but your wages ain't going up to match that. But it's not. It's to keep you in bondage to the system. You know what I'm saying? It's to keep you working. Now you got to get 2 jobs. Now you talking about I got to get 3 jobs. And now you're not able to do it. Now you're not able to spend no time with your family. You never see your kids. So guess where your kids at all the time? They in school and they in daycare, so they get indoctrinated by them. You don't have the time to teach them. You don't have the time to show them nothing. They do that on purpose. They actually came up and said they came up with women's rights, not because they care about women, because they wanted you in the workforce, because they were only taxing half the population, because you were at home teaching the children. Once I can get you out the house and I got to send you to the government, now I can teach your children and I can have them do what I want them to do. All this here, it's by design. It ain't for what you think it is. This stuff is calculated in deliberate actions for a specific cause. To cause you to think the way they want you to think. You ain't never noticed how all the television shows are the same, all the music is the same, they don't call it programming for nothing. They want you to think in a particular fashion. You know what I'm saying? Once we got all y'all thinking the way we want you to think, then we can push you in the way that we want you to go. And yeah, we got to be wiser to that. Come on with it, man. A credit card, by definition, is usury. It's not usury against us because we're not lending them out. But if you had a credit card, if you were able to loan money, you can't charge interest to another Israelite. You can charge interest to anybody else you want. That's why when I looked at being my own bank, I couldn't do it. Remember, because I had grabbed that book. I couldn't do it. Because I would be sinning. Because I'm going to tax you. I may not charge 15, 20, 30, 40% APR like the heathen do. Because basically, if I gave you a credit card and you came and borrowed some money from me, you know what I'm saying? Because I'd have made myself a lender, then I could, and you came and borrowed $10,000, you can only pay me back $10,000. I can't charge you no interest. And then if that's the case, what are you a lender for? You know what I'm saying? I can't turn around and say I'm only lending to white people because now I'm going to federal prison.
I mean, you're just lending. You are.
Yeah, shoot, if that's the case, you just keep them 10 G's, man. That's it. Because that's how banks and all the people, they make their money, because them credit card boys, they are raping you. Them APRs are ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? See, now the interest rate's going to start going back up on a lot of stuff because they feel like the economy stabilized, so that's going to start pulling more money out. See, I would advise all of you to some extent to study economics and how the system works so you can know how they manipulate this stuff. Because see, you know the Fed had the interest rate at 0 and 1% for at least 12 years. You know what I'm saying? And now it's just creeping back up here and there. So you're going to notice your car payment might go up. Or if you got a mortgage, that might go up. Okay. If you know about interest rates, you'll know. Unless you got an agreement in your contract to where they can't do it, them crackers will slide it on you.
You can make your contract like that?
I mean, truth be told, you can. Yeah.
So what do you do?
Yeah, like you said. Because, you know, you got two different, like you said, you got two different ways you can get you a car. Some people get a loan from the bank, and then they go buy the car. Then you get finance for the car. If you get finance for the car, whatever that APR is, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But if you get a loan, they could up it. Because it's based off the feds. We talking about the Federal Reserve. It's based off them. So that's why I say a lot of people finance stuff and take out credit, ain't did no research or knowledge on credit, period. You know what I'm saying? And that don't make no sense. You don't even know what you're borrowing or what they can do. And why do you think this society always tell you get credit, get credit, get credit? Because even though in Hebrew that's not what it means, that verse though, the borrower is a servant to the lender. If I'm steady borrowing for you, I'm your slave because I work for you now. You know what I'm saying? That's why I've always told you, I didn't care for credit only because I had a banker when I was 19 sit me down and explain it to me. That was it. It was nothing other than that. It just wasn't, I was like F credit. A white woman at Educational Community Credit Union, which is now Community First, took the time to explain that to me. That was it. When she explained it to me, I seen what they were doing. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather just buy it. Then I own it and I ain't got to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? But if she didn't explain it to me, I'd probably be like, sure, get some credit. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Because when you see how they do it, it's to really keep you locked in their system when you steady borrow. Is it good to borrow? Depending on what you borrow, everything's in. It depends on what you're doing. But most people borrow just to borrow. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Like, if you got the ability to buy a car cash, it'd probably be better for you to do that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to ride newer, like I told you, it might be better for you to lease. Because you ain't going to have to be responsible for none of the repairs on that car. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to you got to research all that and weigh all that stuff out. You just can't go with what society tell you to do. Know what you're doing and make the decision that works best for you at that particular time. And that's what we don't do. How many of y'all really know about how the loan and the percentages and all that stuff work? How many of y'all actually know how that stuff works? You know what I'm saying? Because if you know how it works, you would be disgusted. Like Henry Ford, if I'm not mistaken, is quoted that if the Americans, no, I think might have been Roosevelt. It was one of them old white men. He was like, if the American public knew how the banking system actually worked, he said it'd be a revolution in the morning.
I mean, yeah, that's why that dude I was telling you about, Alan, whatever his name
Yeah,
was.
who's
Scheme?
50 million. When you know how the system works, that junk make you mad. You know what I'm saying? Because then you see the game they running and the games they playing. The junk will make you mad. Because they play mean games, man. The banking system is fiat currency, what most of you know. The money's not backed by anything. So when they print that money, that's why they do with the interest rate, because they play with the interest rates to keep inflation from going up because the money ain't worth nothing.
I'm pretty sure it would have been a revolution, but they had to bail out AIG and all those other
Yeah.
financial institutions. If every financial institution banked or like tanked during
It would have been ugly.
it would have been real ugly.
And
they had to save a lot of them just so
It didn't fold.
their money.
But what they were really doing was They robbed you. They bailed them out while these people were taking all of your tangible assets away from you and then turn back around and sell it back to you. So they foreclosed on your house, took your house, got bailed out from the government, and sold your house to somebody else to do it all over again. That's what they did. You know what I'm saying?
Not just here, all over the world.
All over the world. People don't know this. Like inflation is built. Y'all ever remember when y'all was in school, did they ever bring like the little bags of money where they shred the money up and show y'all all that stuff? Because they used to do that for. They do that to keep the inflation level down. So they have to take money out of circulation. Because the more money they print, it causes inflation to go up. Because the money works. So periodically they take the money, they burn it, they shred it to keep the prices flat. You know what I'm saying? They manipulate and play. Gas could be 50 cents if they wanted it to be. You know what I'm saying? Bread could be 10 cents if they wanted it to be. You know what I'm talking about? The stuff is like that because of what they do. And then because we blindly, of course to a certain extent ain't nothing you can do about it. But it's the fact of understanding to move wisely in a system that you know is being manipulated. So you make the best decision for you and your household. You got to, we all us in here too old because everybody in here with the exception of me and him got kids. So you need to be making informed decisions. Do you know what I'm saying? That means you got to get off your sorry butt and read something. You know what I'm talking about? That means you need to take the time before you make a decision to study what it is you're about to do. If you don't do that, you are really a lazy, sorry bastard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm dead serious though. And you telling and you really saying, I don't care about my life. Because guess what? We done said this before. You make more, you give more long thought about who you let in your body than the decisions you make that can affect your life for 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the line. You know what I'm saying? Like all the stuff we've been like discussing recently, this is the stuff that can affect your life for decades after. You know what I'm saying? That means you have to be wiser in your decision making. You just can't be going with the flow. You know the only thing go with the flow? Dead fish. That's the only thing go with the flow. If you're going with the flow, that means you're dead. Do you know that if you're not learning, you might as well be dead? Because you're not growing. So why are you alive? You know, I got to tell you, you know why people in trouble? Because we pick mates for superficial reasons. Oh, we can have, and that junk used to piss me off when I used to hear girls be like, oh, we can have beautiful kids. You was a dumb hoe. But what can he teach them? That nigga's dumb. I know this nigga personally. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm thinking about. I know this nigga personally. This nigga's an idiot. But we can make some beautiful churn. And I ain't talking about no high school conversation. We talking about women who in their 20s talking like this. But you'll be surprised how many women who's supposed to be mature and supposed to be so educated are some of the simplest, dumbest people you'd ever want to meet. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Just like what you were talking about, that's what these niggas attract. But she fine though, but she's stupid. I seen a dude say, you want to test a chick out? Ask her what her favorite book is. If she ain't got one, she probably stupid. For real though. Like what type of man want a woman who don't read? Unless you a man who don't read. Bump that. You know, I done told you before, you already know why a man don't want a woman of intelligence. Because she gonna challenge him. I can't be with no stupid woman. That's aggravating. You dumb? But I can show she fine though. But some niggas want trophy wives. Trophy wives is the thing. That's what all Donald Trump done ever had it with the exception of one. And with trophy wives. Somebody I can show off. Yeah, somebody I can show off. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you got to be wiser. When you going to make decisions, you need to know. No matter what it is, you need to know. You need to learn everything you possibly can learn about that scenario and then make your decision. And if that delays your decision for a week or two, then let it be delayed. It's better to make an informed decision than a rushed decision if you have the time to do so. Because some things you don't have time. You got to make a decision. Come on. Because see, with the word, when it hits you, that's when you're supposed to make your decision. What you were going to do. What I'm gonna do? Some people say, shoot, boy, I'm going back to the world. We're not even going back to the world. I don't want to come out of it. It's just because we too old for it. That's all. You got to be grown. Once you done dropped you a child, ain't no time. What he say? Go and get him 1 Corinthians 13:11. Once you done had a child, you can't be immature no more. It's somebody depending on you.
Every year, the cost of living gonna go up and inflation, the dollar gonna go down.
It all depends on what they do. For the most part, inflation has been increasing since the Jimmy Carter administration in the 70s. Jimmy Carter was the president before Ronald Reagan. When Ronald Reagan became president, we had hyperinflation. No, he been dead. Jimmy Carter's still alive. Yeah, Jimmy Carter, yeah, he's still alive. Yeah, he's still alive. Jimmy Carter's still alive. The only living presidents left is Jimmy Carter, both Bushes, Obama, and Bill Clinton. No, he's still here. He's still kicking. 93 years old. Rat Bastard's still here. They're the only living presidents. All the rest of them dead.
Nigga talking about 70. Look at George Bush and not him. He was almost 100.
No, Jimmy Carter, no, he said he the only. No, inflation started going up during the Carter administration. During Ronald Reagan, we had hyperinflation. When he came with Reaganomics, which is basically trickle-down economics, which is basically they feel like that if the top allows the money to come down a particular way, then it'll reach the poor and everybody can have it. But really, it was just a way for the rich to just keep all their money. So with George Bush, when he became president, inflation kind of flattened a little bit. It went down a little bit when Bill Clinton was president, and then it shot back up when Bush was president because of 9/11, and it's really been creeping up ever since. You know what I'm saying? When Obama took over, you know, that's when the recession hit. And the recession is going to breed inflation. You know what I'm saying? And then it kind of flattened a little bit, and it hasn't been as strong. But in the 80s, it was pretty bad. When Ronald Reagan took over, it was pretty bad. See, Jimmy Carter only had a one-term presidency, and he wasn't deemed to be a very successful president. The president before him was Gerald Ford, and before him it was Nixon, and he resigned. And then before Nixon, it was Lyndon Johnson, and then JFK. Come on, man, give him 1 Corinthians 13, man. And 11. I was into that. Like, if there was money to be made, I would have got a degree in political science, but it wasn't no money to be made in that. So I stopped doing it. Yeah, and I just stopped doing it. Straight up. Like, I would have went and got a degree in that. And went and did it for a living. What'd you say?
You like to talk about it.
No, I was into it. Like, I watched it, I studied it, I read stuff about it. I was into that. Yeah, they do. I didn't want to be a teacher.
Yeah, they even just talk about it. That's all they do. Talk about it.
Yeah, but
else to do but talk about
that's
it.
what I'm saying. When I seen it, it wasn't.
Over.
That's what I'm saying. When I seen it, wasn't. It was only three things you could do.
Yeah, you would have been a good dude.
This is only three things you could have did. You could have became a politician. You could have became a professor, or I could have been on Face, or I had to become a journalist.
Either way, you just talk about it.
Work on the nigga campaign.
I ain't working on a nigga campaign.
They read information, they write about it, so niggas can know about it. They teach about it.
Yeah, I was into that. Because a lot of my peers looked at me crazy at the time, like, this nigga watched Face the Nation and Meet the Press, and he reading this and he reading that. Like, I was into that. I wanted to understand how it worked. No, it's not, because my cracker dead. Once he died, I ain't watching no more. I forget his name. What is that man's name? Because they say they killed him because he was the one who asked Bush, like, so, are you in Skull and Bones? 3-2, Tim Russell. That's my man. That's my man, Tim Russell. Once Tim Russell died, you know, Meet the Press wasn't worth watching no more. I had been watching him since I was 5-6 years old. He hold it down. My granddad had me watching. That nigga ain't had no cable. What else you gonna watch on a Sunday morning? You know what I'm talking about? It's 1985, nigga. What you talking about? Shoot. You don't watch but two things on Sunday morning. Good Morning, what it is, Sunday morning, and Meet the Press. Face the Nation. That's all you gonna watch. Nothing but some sun worship, little sun worship. You don't know nobody. That's for your time. It still come on. You got cable now. You got streaming service. You don't care nothing about that. You got Facebook. I scroll in the morning. I don't want to do that.
Wait. I scroll in the morning.
That what it said? Because guess what? Because when football season ended, it's dastardly. You ain't got nothing to look forward to. 1 Corinthians 13 and 11.
It says, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, and I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
So that's how we gotta look at it. When you become an adult, you have to put childish things away. One thing Boy Pimp C said on the record, man, and he ain't never told no lie. You know, you had to come to realize about life that everything ain't always fun. See, when you're young, you want to have fun all the time, and then you become an adult and you start having responsibilities and you still want to have fun. Guess what? Life ain't about that once you get older. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? You can still have fun, but nigga, you're not 15, 16, 17 years old no more. If you wanted to have fun, you should have remained unmarried and childless. Because then you can have fun. You can do what you want to do when you want to do it. Once you become an adult, you got to be an adult. And this society try to make you feel like you can be an adult and a child. And you can't. You got to be one or the other. And when you put childish things away, that means you put childish thought processes away. Can't no longer be selfish. Can't be immature. Can't be irresponsible. You know what I'm talking about? Because y'all got to sit back and look at it, right? We live in an age of where you can look up and find information out on a subject in less than 5 minutes. A lot of the stuff that we could pick up our phone and pull up, well, you had to come to a place just like this here to come get it. You ain't got no reason being ignorant about nothing. It don't make sense. That doesn't make any sense. That means you're just lazy. That means you're just lazy. And if you're lazy, that means whatever it is that you saying you want to know or you want to do, it's really not that important to you. Because guess what? If we were talking about going out somewhere, going on a trip, nigga, find the research to find out everything about it. But things that really need about your life that you need to know and you need to master, you seem to be slow as molasses to get that information. That's unacceptable. That's immature. That's childish. That don't make sense. But you'll be the first one to scream, I'm grown. How? You're a child. You's a child. And guess what? And guess what you're gonna use? The number one excuse, nigga, it's for the kids. Same thing nigga like to use for Christmas. It's for the kids. Nah, nigga, it's for you. Don't use them children as an excuse, because them children don't care. They wouldn't care if you took them in the backyard with a cardboard box and told them it was merry-go-land. They gonna just be as happy. They gonna have some fun as long as you back there with them. They don't care. As long as you with them, they don't care where you take them. They don't care what you do with them. They really don't. But as adults, though, what type of example you setting for them? Come on back to where we was at before that. We finna riding this down and talk what we got to talk about it. Job. Yeah, give me Job 3, wherever you was at. It's just something to consider, man. You know, you can live your life how you want. But one thing about it, like I heard a dude say the other day, he said if you end up 55 years old and you broke, he say stuff just didn't happen. That was you. Like if you don't get out of what you want to get out of your life, just make sure you look in the mirror and blame yourself. Because, you know, they were having that conversation about your man, Jeffrey Owens, why he was broke. Like, they were asking, would you consider him a failure that he's 60 years old bagging groceries at Trader Joe's? But from what they said, which I didn't see, they say that mainly he became broke because he was depending on them royalty checks from the Cosby Show. And when Bill Cosby got in trouble, them checks dried up. You know what I'm saying? Because he was like, nigga ain't really got no hustle. Because, you know, I know he was talking to Godfrey about it, and he was like, well, shoot. You know, I tour like 250 shows a year. But it's different from being a comedian who's an actor and stand-up. Because stand-up and TV acting or movie acting is totally different. Everybody think you can get on the stage and tell jokes? You probably can't. It's not easy. But he was just talking about his hustle and how he adjusted. Like sometimes if something you're doing don't work, you got to know how to adjust. Some people don't adjust and they end up broke. And then they blaming the world and they mad at the world. End up like how Denzel was in Fences. He was mad at the world because he was unsuccessful. And it was your fault. And you took that out on your wife and you took that out on your son because you were unsuccessful. That's your fault. You made those choices. Make better choices. At least make informed. At least if you didn't get to where you wanted to get and you made an informed choice with 100% effort, at least you could say you did it with dignity. Come on, man. Jay Burke.
Joe, what now?
3 and 20.
It says, wherefore is light given unto him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than for hidden treasure, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave.
Yes, sir.
Why is light given unto a man whose ways is hid, and whom Elohim have hedged in? For my sign cometh before I eat, and my roarings are poured out like the waters.
Yep.
For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon
What
me.
verse you in?
25.
Read me 23 again.
It said, why is light given to a man whose way is hid, and whom Elohim have hedged in? For my sign cometh before I eat, and my roarings are poured out like the waters. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came.
So trouble came. So what did it sound like to y'all? This would sound like when they came to get him, Masha, don't it? And what did he do? Did he fold or did he endure? He endured. Remember, he said he endured the suffering, and he got a crown. Of course, we're going to continue looking at this in the next week, so most high willing, we're alive. But when you look at this here, right, take me to Proverbs 3 and 23. Well, not 3 and 23. My apologies. Take me to 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 2. How many of y'all feel like you got good endurance? I said, who feels like they got good endurance? You ever been in the gym and seen and your muscles gave out? That's probably because you're going to failure. See, because you know what build muscle endurance? The number one lie they tell you what to do to get toned. Lightweight and high reps. That's a lie from hell. You can't tone a muscle. You can only train it. You know what I'm saying? You can only make it bigger or smaller. You can't tone it. You know what I'm saying? But when you do a lot of reps, that's muscle endurance. If you're doing 30 and 40 reps, guess what you're training that muscle to do? To be able to go for an extended period of time under tension. You know what I'm saying? So when you start doing something heavier, guess what happens? It's stronger. You know what I'm saying? If you did 25 reps or 225 on a bench press, if you that strong, when it's time for you to do 450, you're going to be able to do that 450 because of the endurance. You know what I'm saying? Because of the ability, have that ability to be that strong and push yourself. Well, the things where you get tried, where the word is concerned, is for you to develop that endurance. When you look at everything, remember when Yahushua said, you are those who are with me in my temptations? So everything that he went through to get up to the point, to the day that he was about to die, was for his endurance, for him to be able to withstand that and go ahead and die. You know what I'm saying? Every time they called him a devil, every time they tried to get him in his speech, every time they tried to kill him, everything was those trials was to get him to that point so he would be able to endure and not fold under pressure. You know what I'm saying? That's why you train. Whatever it is that you're doing, that's why you train. So when you face adversity, you don't fold. Come on, man. Chapter 1. You can start at verse 1.
It says, Paul and Silvanus and Timothy unto the assembly of the Thessalonians, and Elohim our Abba and Master Yahushua Mashiach, grace be unto you and shalom from Abba and our Master Yahushua Mashiach. We are bound to the thanks of Elohim always for you, brethren, as it is meet, because that your faith groweth exceedingly, and the love of every one of you all towards each other abounded.
Go ahead.
So that we ourselves esteem in you in the assemblies of Elohim for your patience and faith and all your persecutions.
See that? Your patience and your faith, when you look at that, right? What verse you in?
4.
Go ahead. Finish it out if you ain't.
All your faith and all your persecutions and tribulations that ye endure.
So when you look at this here, right? Listen, read the things he said they were enduring.
Which it say, which in manifest token of the righteousness.
No, in verse 4. In verse 4.
It say your patience and faith and all your persecution
Boom.
and tribulation.
So guess what? Your persecution and your what?
Tribulation.
So your persecution and tribulations is what's developing your endurance. We're going to stop right here. Go to Romans 5 real quick. 5 and 1. And we're going to get ready to wrap that up. And you after Romans 5 and 1, you can go to Matthew 24 and 13. Because, of course, we're going to come back, most high willing, next week. And, of course, each day try to isolate one particular situation, because I tried to jam all of them in here today, and that was just going to be utterly impossible.
Wherefore, being justified by faith, we have shalom with Elohim through our Master Yahushua Mashiach, by whom
That boy
also
making a mess, man. He making a mess.
we have access by faith unto his grace, wherein we stand and rejoice in the hope of the esteem of Elohim. And not only so, but we esteem in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience.
It work what?
Patience.
So if you work in patience, that's going to help you work what? Endurance. Endurance. Go ahead.
And patience experience hope.
So you see what the hope, so the hope come in. Go ahead.
And hope maketh not ashamed.
Make it not what?
Ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
Because the love of Elohim is shed abroad in our hearts by the Ruach HaKodesh, which is given unto us.
So, and that's what we're going to isolate when we go to looking at hoping, believing, enduring, and bearing all things. Because you have to be able to do that. Matthew 24 and 13. Because we done looked at that Romans 5 before, but like we're going to go back, y'all willing, look at Esther again and point out stuff to isolate. To see people who bared all things. Because to bear something is to basically to carry on. You know what I'm saying? Like some people can't, no sir. Some people can't bear everything. Some people can't take a lot of load on their shoulders. Some people's shoulders ain't strong and they crumple under the pressure. Go ahead.
23,
24 and 13.
It say, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. This is the Basora of the kingdom that shall be preached unto all the world.
So he that endured to the what?
To the end.
To the what?
To the end.
You got to make it all the way to the end. And whether we look at it, endure, as these particular words right here. Hold on. Whether you look at it as a mod, which is to take one stand or hold one's ground, which we gonna look at that because that's endurance. That means that's not being moved. That's like the three Kadash children. They took their stand, right? They weren't moved. You look at Joseph, he took his stand, he wasn't moved. You look at David, he took his stand, he wasn't moved. You look at Yahushua, he took his stand, he wasn't moved. When they came and say, we seek Yahushua Nazareth, he said, I am he. He said, whom seek ye? Yahushua Nazareth. He said, I'm right here, man, what's up? I'm taking my stand, I'm not moved. See, that's what he means, talking about childish things. See, a little child gonna play and run away. That's not me. You know what I'm saying? Or you can look at endure as regal, which means your foot or your walk, because if you endure, you're going to be able to stand firm. You ain't going nowhere. And then, of course, when we mention what you call, which is to prevail or to overcome. Because endure, you're going to need that. When these days get dark, you're going to need some endurance. And most definitely, you're going to want to have somebody around you who got some. You know the worst thing I've ever heard any woman say is have a man who fold under pressure, and this her husband, or this her man, or the father of her children. Just inspired, she lose all hope because she like this here. If this nigga ain't got it, what's the hope for the rest of us? That don't mean that this woman weak, but you know that can that can destroy the morale of the whole household. You know what I'm saying? If the leader of the household folding, if the leader of a business folding, what that's gonna do for the whole company? That's gonna bring the morale down for the whole company. That's why y'all was hot when the people came back and brought an evil report of the land. You gonna do because these were the heads of Yasharal who went over there, and they brought the morale down of all the people. Yeah, they were talking about the giants, but the people who he sent to spy the land were the chiefs of the people, and they caused the morale to fall because they were weak. They ain't had no endurance. They felt like we can't overcome. I don't want to. Only Yahushua, son of Nun, and Caleb was willing to take their stand. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. We bless everybody at the house of y'all, name of Yahushua. For those of y'all that wanted to call that line, you better call it right now. I'm going to get you the number. Stop playing with that board. Because I'm not playing with you, little boy. That number is 641-715-0857. 641-715-0857 with a passcode of 488-741-488-741. Bless y'all at the house of y'all, name of Yahushua. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Y'all willing to the next time.